You know, actually, that gives me an idea. I could play a Slim Whitman song tonight, couldn't I?
You could play. Oh, Davey Holden's joining us. That's nice.
Excellent.
This is nice.
Hello, Davey.
He'll be a minute or two.
Oh,
He'll be a
not on
minute or
yet.
two.
I'm not going to be here for long. I'm just saying hello, really.
Yeah,
'cause-
no, don't worry. Don't worry.
Yeah.
It's nice to have you and other people pop in and.
Good evening,
Yeah.
David. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
Yeah. Oh, Dave, you don't sound very energetic.
Too much food, too much drink. I think
Oh
it's.
dear. Yeah.
It's only January
Anyway,
the 3rd. What's he going to be like by Christmas?
Oh, well, I think
Andrew,
that's it.
Andrew,
Yeah.
stop sounding like those park hamper adverts. Honestly, we don't need to think about Christmas next year.
Yeah.
Oh,
So,
I used to
welcome
do
to the-
hampers. Oh.
Welcome to the new year, everyone. Happy New Year, as they say. So hopefully everyone's got used to the fact that we're in 2022. And if you're writing checks, make sure you write the right date. Otherwise, you cause all sorts of problems for people.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
Brian, put my name on them all, Dave.
Oh, yeah. He's now known as Sir Charlie Ash, shortened to C. Ash.
That's right. Yeah, that was used in a film, wasn't it? One of the quite a famous film where a guy befriends a rich old lady, and she says, "Well, I'll write you a check." And who do you make it payable to? He says, "Colin Ash, C. Ash. It'll be easier for you." Anyway, so I'm going to throw a couple of things at you about today, just to see if you're paying attention to know what happened today, either recently or even in the year 69 BC. Does anyone know what happened in the year 69 BC on today's date?
Oh my God.
Battle of Hastings.
No, it's a bit before the
I know it
Battle of
wasn't.
Hastings, Brian. It was a different empire. The Roman legions marched on the Rhine and
I knew it was something to do with the Romans.
basically conquered yet another area. Yeah. So the Romans put themselves about a bit. Also, in 1959 today, can anyone work out which state joined the United States of America?
1969.
1959.
Oh, 59. I don't know.
There was a state became one of the official states of the US. Go on, Heath, you can have first guess.
My mum knows this one because she's told it me. But I
Can you phone a friend?
genuinely don't know.
Okay.
No good phoning me, Andrew.
David, you can have a little guess.
I wouldn't know.
No shame in not knowing. I didn't know. I only know because I've looked it up today.
Oh, she does know it.
Does she?
Yeah, she's told me that. I've looked it
Okay.
up, but I'm not going to say.
Okay, Andrew.
I haven't a clue.
Honestly?
But I know of one other event that happened in 1959 on the state.
Okay, well, you can tell us that in a second. Brian, which state do you think joined America?
I don't know. As a guess, Texas.
No,
Well, I was going to
Texas
say Texas, but it definitely isn't.
No, Texas was a state way before
Panama.
1959. The obvious ones are Hawaii and Alaska, because
Alaska.
they were the two last to join, weren't they? So you would it would be one of them, wouldn't you, Heather? Yeah.
It is one of them, yeah.
Yeah.
Hello.
Yeah. So it's Alaska. Alaska was the 49th state of America.
Well, we'll
And
wait
this-
then while they ask her. We'll wait.
Yeah.
Indeed. Yes.
Actually, that's a bloody good pun, that, isn't it, really?
Yeah.
Hey, what's the last state to join the United States? Hang on, here's my mum, Alaska.
Yeah. Now listen,
to say Hawaii.
Why?
before Dave or Andrew warms themselves up and plays a song, I want to play a song for you that I think you will all like, and it's by a lovely young singer from Widnes called Jenny Colquitt. She's just been nominated for New Artist of the Year. I went to see her live in December in Liverpool, and she was absolutely brilliant. So this is her latest song called Poetry of You.
Alone in my room, I sit and tell you I am here. I figured it out, the words words finally fall like tears. You made me out to be a fool, but that's the poetry of you. I sit on the fence for my common sense to be used. I'm fine by myself, and this could mean hell for you. You poured me out like lemonade, and do you even know my name? You took a part of me for you. I saved a part of me for you. So it's some poetry, poetry for you. Poetry, poetry for you. Poetry, poetry for you. Look me in the eye and don't fantasize the truth. Don't hold it inside and don't patronize my mood. You pour me out like lemonade, and do you even know my name? You took a part of me for you. I saved a part of me for you. So here's some poetry, poetry for you. Poetry, poetry for you. Poetry, poetry. I'm still alive, I'm still awake. I'm not the one who's here to blame. Throw me aside, I won't be ashamed. Don't let the dark take me away. Throw me in jail, this is the truth. I'm not the one who's haunting you. I'll be alright, I won't be abused. This is a poetry, poetry of you. Poetry, poetry of you. Poetry, poetry of you.
Oh, folks, Heather, what do you think? Did you like it? Oh, you've all gone quiet.
I can
It's
hear
hard
you,
to follow
Tony.
that.
Powerful stuff, isn't it?
It
Yeah.
is.
Very
It
powerful
was.
stuff. It's hard to follow that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
great
it's all right.
vocals.
We'll talk for a minute before anyone else has to perform. Heather, what did you think of Jenny Colquitt? Oh, you're on mute. That's weird. We can't hear you, Heather, but you're not muted. How peculiar. Can't hear you, but you're not muted. It's done stuff like this before, usually to Brian. Brian's normally the lucky one who
I know,
can't be heard.
I know. every
Brian's
time.
day off.
I know, but it makes a change, doesn't it?
It does, yeah. I mean, I was blown away. I mean, Matthew, my son, and I went to see him at the British Music Experience about 6-8 weeks ago, and it was one their showcase of 4 different acts. And when I was buying him a CD at the end, she said, "Oh, are you going to come to my album launch?" And you know, I thought, yeah, make the effort and go. And she played at the Jacaranda in Liverpool, and it was pretty full. It was a good night, and she played solo on the piano for about 3 or 4 songs. Did that one, and then she brought a band. She had a band on, and they were brilliant. So definitely
Yeah.
someone I think more people need to listen to.
Yeah, great vocals, Sony.
She's got a great voice.
All
but
the
she
night, all the
writes-
high notes.
writes really good stuff as well. Can Heather say something? Can we hear you? No, still can't hear you. How bizarre! You have to use the chat box, Heather. We got, unless you pressed a button that is muting you at your end, because your mic's not muted in there. Any evening, Zoe. Isn't it funny? We played a song called "Poetry of You" by the wonderful Jenny Colquitt from Widnes just now, and our poet friend Zoe's just joined us. That's almost like
Yeah, sorry about being a bit late.
do not worry, we've only just started. So I don't know if you met my friend Heather, who's I think has signed in a couple of times in the past. I go out and do photography with Heather. She's my my friend who I jaunt around the countryside with and take photos. I've been playing with some new software. Heather, have you seen some of the ones I've been doing with Nick's? It's nice software, isn't it? Have you tried it, Dave? You do a bit of photography and all, don't you?
What is it you used?
Nick Collection, NIK Collection. It does a thing where you can do like a double layer of a shot, so it builds two layers of a shot up. So I played with it yesterday and put about 6 or 7 up.
Still a Photoshop guy, me. I think,
well, I've got Photoshop, but Heather knows how to use Photoshop. She was playing with some she took up in the lake.
I think I'm the same as that.
No. She showed me some of the ones she was up in the lakes for Christmas with some friends. I went up on Monday, well, Sunday night, but Monday to bring us back home. And she'd done some great stuff with the ones she'd taken up in the lakes. It just takes time, doesn't it? Just takes time. Anyway, I'm just going to throw a couple more things at you about today in the past and see if anyone knows any of this. Today is a very special day. Today is the perihelion. Does anyone know what the perihelion is?
No, I haven't got a clue.
There's a slight clue in the word helion, which comes from Helios, which is the Greek for the sun. So perihelion is today. It's the point during the year when the Earth is closest to the sun. It occurs on or around today's days in the northern hemisphere, obviously, and it ignores the effects of daylight saving time. So the latest sunrise of the year occurs today. So it's sort of like the solstice, but it's more scientific than the solstice. So it's the perihelion. So we are the closest to the sun as of today, probably about 2 hours ago. Or thereabouts. So what else can we tell you about today? Did you know 1987, one for the ladies here, Aretha Franklin was the first female artist to be inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, 1987. So the first female artist. Just shows how sexist some things are, doesn't it?
Yeah, terrible.
Yeah,
Terrible.
well, I mean, can't really think of anyone better than Aretha Franklin to be the first female artist to be inducted, really.
Yeah,
Apart from maybe Ella
brilliant.
Fitzgerald or Nina Simone. But, so we really should be playing Dave, you should be playing an Aretha Franklin song for us now. Have you got your...
I've got the voice to
range
do
and all
that justice.
No.
Brian might.
Brian might,
Oh.
yeah.
By me again.
Anyway, Zoe, can we ask how Paul is? Because I think I saw a note on his Facebook that he's
It's
gone
okay
down with
then.
seasonal lurgy.
He has, yeah.
Yeah.
Message, he messaged the other day.
And he's not, well, he got his booster just for Christmas and basically hasn't been at all well since.
Really?
So he's with his mum. Yeah.
Quite- Yeah, I mean, I'm due. Well, technically, I was aiming to try and get mine today or tomorrow because I'm back in work. I've got real work now, haven't I? Gonna have to pretend I know what I'm doing every day and get up at the same time. And yeah, I'm gonna have to have a shave nearly every day, Dave.
What's that?
Nearly every day.
Yeah, I can get away
So-
with it every other
So
day.
you nearly shave. You go like that with the razor and go, oh, I've changed my mind.
Yeah, something like that. Something like that.
Yeah, you do that and you cut yourself and you can claim you're off work because of a work-related injury. You
Oh,
know?
indeed.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think that'll go down well. They're pretty short-staffed at the moment, aren't they? You know, a lot of people, you know, getting COVID, isn't there? Really?
You might have got away with it maybe 10 years ago, but I don't think now.
No, I don't think either. So, Brian, are you going to dig a poem or two out? Have you got anything you're going to dig out? For us? Not right now. Just while
Oh
we're
yeah.
while we're moving ourselves around. letting
I
people
wrote
tell
something
us.
quickly. I wrote something quickly before, so I'll do that when you
Okay.
want.
Yeah. Well,
In the meantime, I've got to try and catch this fly because you'll probably see my head go like that.
yes,
but
we
it's a
have.
fl-
Yeah,
There's a fly keeps going right past my face, left and
Yeah.
right. So I'm going like that.
Tony,
Well, I've
you'll have to invite it into Zoom if it's that desperate to get on.
indeed. Yeah, that's it. Indeed. Yeah.
I think it's after this. It's after my little glass. It
Oh,
probably,
right.
Now,
probably land
here's
on
one.
there.
Here's one for Lord Hesford. On this day in 1969, an album by a Beatle was banned in New Jersey for being pornographic. Do you know which Beatle and which album?
I do. I can actually show you the cover.
Oh,
Maybe.
can you now? maybe the censored edition. Is this the?
Yeah, I've got it. Don't worry. Give us a minute. Can't get it at all.
Oh dear.
I've got it. I know I've got it.
The joys of live entertainment, really. You know, listening to someone scrabble round.
Andrew's shrunk.
Andrew's he's gone, hasn't
He's shrunk.
Oh, I'm here. I promise.
he?
But, no, it's not that one. Yeah, I've got it somewhere. Where is it? Come on. Ah, here we are. I'll show you the censored version.
Yeah, that's the one. Yeah, censored version. Yeah,
Yeah, but I can show you. I won't show you the front because that is the part that got banned.
yeah.
But when I was
How
at
come it was New Jersey, you wouldn't have thought New Jersey was one of the Bible Belt.
because of federal rules.
Yeah.
There's different things that happen in different states.
Yeah.
Like for example, in I think when Clint Eastwood was governor of somewhere, didn't he ban ice cream?
Really?
Yeah, under
He
a,
was Sacramento.
local
He was
law.
out in California, Sacramento, wasn't it?
oh yeah. This was when I was at university, and somebody actually wrote to Yoko Ono asking if they could use this for the Christmas issue, and he used a reverse shot.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah,
from
what an awful
1995.
sight.
Yeah.
Yeah, what an
By the
awful
way-
sight. Oops, I feel
I know.
sick.
Let's see what's on the other side. That's the Christmas menu. Don't worry.
Off the menu already.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
no,
actually
that was
reckon-
banned in 1969.
But can I tell you something else about it?
Go on.
And that is that it's pretty unlistenable. It's really terrible. But I wanted a copy, so I could say I had a copy, and I paid about £5 for it in 1979. And my mother was absolutely furious at me for buying it. You know, buying a bit of pornographic. You think like that's all heavy breathing. No,
I'd say it was terrible.
it was. Anyway,
I didn't think it was that bad, really.
no, there you are. Here's the picture from the back. John and Yoko showing the bubbles.
Which one's which?
Exactly. Just awful.
Trevor, I'm really offended. I'm not showing you the front. No, I'll be honest with you. The record itself is more offensive than the sleeve.
Oh dear. Oh dear.
Is she screaming on it?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Anyway,
all the time.
Andrew, you get your tonsils warmed up. Well, let's say we do a couple of poems, and then you can be our first live sing along.
Oh my goodness.
Christmas songs only, of course, because we're still in the 12 days of Christmas, aren't we?
Well, I'm not going to do a Christmas song, but I'll do a
Absolutely.
song for Heather, as Heather's
Okay.
not usually with us, but it's lovely to see you.
Yeah.
So while
Oh,
I
so
get
we'll let-
tuned,
Well, you get yourself tuned up. So you mute yourself and get tuned up while we let Zoe give us. a
you're
couple-
on, you're on.
So Zoe, have you got anything new for us? We haven't seen much posted on your Facebook for the last week. Have you been quiet?
I've just been I've been quite busy reading mainly.
Yeah.
And seeing family and stuff. So I've not done a huge amount. On saying that though, I have got a couple of new ones.
Good.
Not they have titles, but that doesn't matter. Candy canes left from the shepherds of long ago now hang entwined in angels' wings. Eyes watching over, and strain your ears, you will hear the gentle voice. Spread the message, peace on earth. Send a message of thanks. Spread a message of hope has returned.
Excellent. So, I mean, are you any nearer to pulling your thoughts together for your book? How's that progressing?
I am. It's progressing okay. I'm slowly going through and starting to edit some stuff.
Mm,
And going back to me last time, I've said it's definitely going to be a combination of poetry and fiction.
yeah,
Because given how short my stuff tends to be, I think that's going to make a lot more sense.
yeah. No, it does. Otherwise, sometimes you've got to try too hard to find more poems, which sort of sounds like it should be easy, but actually sometimes it just means that you're finding stuff that isn't as good as you want it to be, just to fill space, and that's
Well,
not what you
yeah.
want, is it?
No, particularly as I'm thinking, well, if I'm going to have a Christmas theme to it, I don't want it to be too much mishmash. At the end of the day, it's not as if I've not got enough material to do another book.
Yeah.
And I would rather be doing that than trying to cram everything into one.
No,
'Cause
definitely.
Like, to do that, it's going to be wishy-washy.
Mm,
And I don't want to book.
Yeah.
If that makes sense. I think
Yeah.
you can tell what's kind of be somewhat cobbles you together.
So have you got
But I'm
another?
hoping sort of
have you got-
by. I sure have, yeah. And it's very sort of much based on the picture you posted with the trees. Through the trees she sat, half tree, half human, her eyes blazed green, her lips twisted, 2 pointed teeth struck through skin. If you dare to cross her, wished to claim but land.
Wow, that's really, really short and impactful.
That was a short one, that. Zoe.
Yeah, I actually was waiting for another couple of lines there. I thought you'd pause and you were gonna come back with another line or two. I mean, you
I
do
think she's done it.
write very instantly, almost. You seem to have the ability to just capture the right number of words at the time. You never pad out or write more and have to get rid of stuff, do you really?
No, I would rather do it as a sequence of short one when trying to make it too long. Because I just think, well, what's going to be easier on the eye?
Yeah,
And I think if you know, say, a few short ones, I think you're more like just home in and have the option of home in on what you want to read. If that makes sense.
yeah. So, I mean, when are you aiming at sort of getting all your pieces together? Have you set yourself a bit of a deadline to say, right, I want 30 poems in a rough form by March or April, or what's the?
I'm aiming. What I'm aiming to do is do it by March.
Yeah.
Pure and simply because then I think it's going to feel much safer to meet up with people.
Yeah.
Whereas at
Yeah.
the moment, because of numbers, I'd be a little bit wary of going out.
Mm,
What I'm planning on doing is pulling it all together by March, and then maybe if we can meet up at some point when it's convenient.
yeah. Well, I mean, that's something I think, you need a few people to sit and sift over stuff with you and, you know, suggest
Absolutely.
running
Well,
orders
it's
and
not fair thing. I think it makes it more fun.
Mm.
You know what I mean? I think if you want, there's no point of just trying to do something by yourself. Not when you've got people who are willing to help.
right, young Andrew Lord Hesford. I
Well,
think
I'm
you.
just going to reply to something. I'm sorry about this. Heather's
That's all right.
got to go. You know,
Yeah, no, she's just popped in for half an hour. I think she's like all of us has got other things that eat up time. Oh, she tutors basically. She'd be tutoring.
Ah,
She tutors dyslexic students at John Moores.
she's quite a nice lady anyway.
She is. So
Yeah.
Andy, is this a festive song or a seasonal song?
Yeah.
No. Is it one of your own?
You look like that. You
Is
look
it a
like
cover
that
or
lion
one of
off
your
the
Arr.
off the film.
Arr. Oh,
BGM.
is it the Pirates of the Caribbean theme tune?
Why are pirates called pirates? Because they are.
Arr.
Right. Well, as it is, something was sparked in a memory because my mum loved Slim Whitman, and she used to sing things like, you know, Rosemary or I'll take you home again, Kathleen, and all that kind of stuff. So you end up where you sort of know these songs. I listened to a lot of stuff like that when I was growing up, and there was one song which was when I walked into a room after not playing for 15 years. And for some reason, they were playing this song, and I ended up joining in because I knew it. Not what. I'm tired of crying and of your lying. That's why I'm buying my China doll. Her eyes are bluer, her lips are truer, her thoughts are fewer, my China doll. I'd rather have $1 played till I can't call my own than someone else just like you, with a heart of stone. She'll never leave me, she won't deceive me, and never leave me, my China doll. No tears of sorrow, no sad tomorrow, no one can borrow my China doll. Her eyes are bluer, her lips are bluer, her thoughts are fewer, my China doll. I'd rather have $1 played till I can't call my own than someone else just like you, with a heart of snow. She'll never leave me, she won't deceive me, and never grieve me, my China doll.
Fantastic. The old stuff is often the best. I'm sorry, guys, I muted you all, so we had clarity for Andrew. So
Thank
Zoe,
you.
Brian, Dave, you can all unmute yourselves. I'm trying to remember when someone's doing their singing, you know, to mute the rest of us, because sometimes, not always, but sometimes there's like an ambient sort of well, I don't know what it is, isn't it? There's a background noise from too many microphones being open, I think sometimes. There's like an ambient. Oh, look at that. That was like me and an echoing. Now I'm gonna play the birthday game with you before we let Brian or Dave do anything. Dave, you'll have to unmute yourself because you're gonna have to join in. We're playing the birthday game. on today. Several famous people have their birthdays today. And we're going to see if any of you can guess roughly, no prizes, how old these people are or would be if they're dead, because obviously they stopped being an age when they died. But if technically, if they were still alive, that it would count, wouldn't it? So in no particular order, we've got Clement Attlee, we've got George Martin, the Beatles producer, we've got John Thaw, we've got J.R.R. Tolkien, and we've got Mel Gibson. So does anyone want to have a guess at how old any of those people are today? Because it is their combined birthday. They've all got a birthday today. So
I'll have a guess at George Martin.
go on then.
If he'd still been alive, he would have been 96.
Oh, very well done. Yes, I think
Was
you're
he?
right. Yeah, 1926 he was born. Yeah.
That's
So-
all I had, but I didn't know if it was Jack.
I knew he was around about 90 when he died. I must admit, I didn't genuinely know he died as long ago as he did. I thought he died more recently. He's been dead 6 years, hasn't he? Yeah. So George Martin, 1926. So we having his 100th soon. That must get celebrated. I would have thought. So Andy gets the first sticker, the good boy sticker, the good boy sticker for Andy. So Clement Attlee, does anyone know? Brian, do you know who Clement Attlee is or was?
He was Prime Minister, wasn't he?
He was indeed, young man. He was also a very famous soldier, lawyer and politician before he became Prime Minister. He lived quite a full life. So when do you think he was born? How, over 100, under 100? Any ideas?
97.
You think 97? And Zoe, any ideas on when Clement Attlee might have been born or
About
how
98.
old?
About 98.
You're going for about the 90s as well. Yeah, Dave's disappeared, so we can't ask Dave. Andrew, how old do you think Clement Attlee would be or was?
Lummy neck. He was born sometime in the 19th century, wasn't he?
Possibly. So that makes him over 100, doesn't it?
I'm gonna hazard a guess. I could be wrong on this.
Yeah.
I reckon he'd have been about 120. I don't know.
Ooh, I think he's even older. 1883.
Wow.
1883. It's a long time ago, isn't it?
So what does that make you?
Well-
1883, 17 plus 100 plus 22. He would have been
140 nearly.
139, 140.
Yeah, gosh, yeah. So therefore, you should all now know that J.R.R. Tolkien would also have been very old. So anyone now going to have a guess on the Hobbit when he started getting furry feet? How old do you think J.R. Tolkien? Brian, any ideas? You must have read him when you were a lad.
I've read some of it, not all of it.
Yeah.
It's quite heavy reading, isn't it?
Oh yeah.
It
Yeah.
is,
My dad
yeah.
loved it. I mean, I took me 3 goes to read Lord of the Rings, which once you've done it, it's worth it. It just takes a lot of getting there. So
Well, I'd rather watch the movie.
Good man, Brian.
That's the young
Easy,
people
but
of
easier.
today. So any ideas when
I don't know.
Tolkien-
110.
Not bad guess that, Bryce. Zoe, any ideas? How old J.R.R. Tolkien?
For some reason, I don't know.
I'd say at least 100.
Yeah, over 100. You're right. Yeah, Andy, what were you going to say?
I can't honestly think. I'd say about 100. I don't know, 130 for some reason. I'm certain he was born 1890.
You're right. Oh, you're not far off. You're very, very close. Very, very close. He
About
died in
130.
1973. By the
Okay.
way, and he was born in 1892. So you were really, really close.
130, yeah.
Yeah, you're really, really close. Yeah.
I don't know, I
John
thought
Thaw.
1890.
John Thaw. Everyone should know he was in the Sweeney. Brian, don't know if you remember watching the Sweeney.
John Thaw, yeah.
Yeah,
John Thaw.
yeah.
Oh,
Any ideas when he was born?
let's say John Thaw.
He died in 2002. He's been dead a long time, hasn't he?
Crikey, yeah.
Yeah.
I
I
don't
mean,
know.
he was a lovely fellow. I mean, him and Sheila Hancock were, just the perfect.
I remember
couple.
Sheila Hancock in the first thing I ever saw it in, and it was called The Rag Trade,
Yeah.
Oh, God, yeah.
and it was black and white telly.
No, that was just your telly. It was filmed in colour.
Excuse me. Excuse me. Yeah.
So,
Yeah,
John
the right
Paul, any
kid, that was in
ideas?
early 50s, 60s. I don't know. 75.
Well, you're not thought off how old he was when he died.
Yeah, that's what I was
Um,
thinking. That's what I thought you meant.
Yeah. You're about spot on there. Andy, any ideas?
For some reason, I've got it in my head. Right. He must have died. You say he died when he was 75,
No. He died in 2002.
2002. Right. So I've got it in my head that he would probably be now about 85.
Or you're pretty close, a lot of you. He was born in 1942, so he would have been 80 this year, wouldn't he?
80.
Aye, 79, I said.
You did. Give Brian a point. Give that lad a lolly eye.
Oh, lolly eyes.
So
I
we've
don't
got
like
one
lolly
more.
eyes.
We've got one more for
Pendleton
this.
twice there.
We've got one more for this round, and then we've got
Oh, they have
5
an
more
ice
for
cream.
later. So was it Mel Gibson? Was Mel Gibson the last one that I picked? Was it?
Mel
So
Gibson, yeah.
The clue here is he's probably younger than most of the others because he's still alive, isn't he?
Yeah.
Well, rumored to be alive. I mean, I haven't seen him for a while. Has anyone seen him in?
I think he's
anything?
great actor.
Oh, he was. Well, yes.
Well,
Oh,
he
yeah.
is. He's still
Yeah.
here, isn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah, 68. I'll go. I don't know why.
Ooh.
68.
Not a bad guess, that, Bri. Zoe, how old do you think Mel Gibson is? I bet you're a bit of a fan of Mel Gibson, I would have thought.
We are
Zoe
related.
being a
I
Mad
thought
Max fan.
70.
70? Ooh.
We're related, you know, Tony.
Huh?
We're
You and
related.
Zoe? You and Zoe are
with Mel
related?
Gibson.
Hello,
Mel
Brian
Gibson.
Gibson.
Oh,
Mad
yeah, he
Max.
could be. He
There you
could
go.
be. He could be. Yeah. Andy, how old do you think Mel Gibson is then?
I've got it in my head that he's probably a little bit older than me. Probably about 65, 66.
Oh, 65, spot on. Yeah. 10 years older than me. Yeah, 1956 he was born.
Oh no, that
I
would be
didn't know-
that'd be 66
Now,
then, now, wouldn't it?
So here's the thing though. Where's he from?
Australia.
Ah,
No, he
now
wasn't born
people
in
always think
Australia.
that. No, he wasn't born in Australia. He
I
is,
think
he
he
was
is
born in-
from Australia, but he wasn't born in Australia.
Wasn't
He's-
he born in New York?
Yeah, well done. He was.
No, because
Yeah.
he went to Australia because that's where he did his first telly.
Mm. It's an easy thing. We all think, someone's from somewhere or was born somewhere, but no, he was originally American. Yeah. I don't know where Dave's gone. Dave's disappeared. He's disappeared.
He's got
Tell
to
you
make
what
some
we'll do.
tea.
I will play another song for my little selector list before we come to Brian, who's now. Have you found your bits of paper, Uncle Brian?
I found bits of paper.
Good. Let's have a little share of something while you gather your thoughts. So we've got a choice of Brian. You can pick. You can either have My Darling Clementine, Merry Hell, or The Scaffold.
I'll go for the scaffold.
Go for The Scaffold.
Because
Okay,
Francesca's met a couple of them.
Who is Francesca watching? Hello,
Oh
Francesca.
yeah, she watches all a
Crafty
while.
Hopkin.
Every night.
Now, your dad and Andy will tell you more about The Scaffold in a minute, but I've not picked one of their famous ones like Lily the Pink. I think this one is rather sweet. It's called Bus Dreams.
I've met every one of them.
She's my bus seductress, she smells of old cash, drinks lager of duty, eats sausage and mash. But like everyone else has a bus dream too. When the peak hour is over, there's nothing to do. Peak hour is over, nothing to do. A four-poster upstairs, a jukebox inside. There are more ways than one of enjoying a ride. Pink curtains on windows, the carpets on floor, roulette pillow stairs, and a bar by the door. Roulette pillow stairs, bar by the door. 3 times a day she'd perform her striptease, enjoying applause, say nicely first please. Upstairs she'd reserve for the men of days we'd be happier if she had her way. There's so many young men she'd like to know better, give herself with the change, if only they'd let her. She's my bus seductress, she smells of old cash, drinks lager on duty, eats sausage and mash, but she has her bus dreams while she's out on duty. My lovely but lonely, why don't you phone me? It's standing room only, blues and beauty.
They don't write songs like that anymore, do they?
No, they don't. They
Andy,
don't.
you need to write a song with a bit of dark humour in it like that.
Oh, I have written a couple. I'm in the process of.
Oh, I bet you
some
have.
others. Yeah, honestly, I have.
I
So
bet
go
you
on,
have.
what are you in the process of,
I
Andy?
bet
Go
they
on.
have.
No, I've got a variation on the line "The Witch in the Wardrobe," over an encounter I had in the wardrobe.
Oh dear.
Oh,
Is this recently?
I've had an
or-
accounting on the wardrobe myself as well.
I think it was
When
about
we-
1975. Yeah.
Oh, when I was married, we used to go on holiday with another couple.
Oh, too much information.
No. My friends, my ex-wife's best friend, Jill's a dentist, and her husband Giles is a dentist. He was my dentist, and Jill was my ex-wife's dentist, and we got on really well with them. Carla had been to school with Jill, so we used to go on holiday for a week with them in the summer holes, and their youngest daughter Megan. We used to rent a holiday cottage down in Devon or Dorset or Suffolk or somewhere. Anyway, we got there, we were cooking tea, and the kids all went upstairs to play and get dressed up. For some bizarre reason, Megan decided to put on all of the clothes in the wardrobe that she brought with her. So she must have had about 5 pair of knickers on, three pairs of tights on, 3 pullovers on. She was like, the Michelin baby, basically. And we don't know quite what happened or how it happened, but she wet herself. So she wet all of the clothes, literally all of the clothes that she brought on holiday, she weed in them all. Oh, it was, it's funny talking about it, but poor Jill was like livid with her. How come you couldn't take them off and go to the toilet? Imagine that, hiding in the wardrobe, putting all these clothes on, and then wet herself, poor girl. Oh dear. Anyway, Brian, your best reading out loud voices.
Okay.
Are these new or are these?
Well, I wrote this one here just before. Right. I wrote one yesterday. This is a simple one. Okay, I'll just read this one quickly. That's all it would take. A simple phone call from her. A meaningful phone call from her. A loving phone call from her. To lift me up so high, way off into the sky, where I would fly, 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 and fly. That's a short one.
It is. Golly gosh, guys, you can unmute yourselves again. I'm trying to remember to mute us all when someone's doing their thingy. So Zoe, Andy, so we like that. You're quite a romantic, Brian, if truth be known.
Oh, I am. I know I am. I'm a silly boy. But
Yeah,
there you
so-
are. It's me. It's me. It's the way I am.
Yeah.
I think,
Anyway, so
I think
go
what's
on.
nice about it is you're
And
honest.
that's
It's
what's so good about
it's so honest.
he is genuinely as honest as the day is long, aren't you, Brian?
Well, I've did this one before, and it was coming out with a bit of music in my head, so I'll try and sing it.
Okay, well, hold on. Let us put you on
without
let's put you on spotlight.
without any instrument, and it probably come out wrong.
No,
But-
no, go on.
I know you don't want me forever. Maybe you just want me for the night. In the morning, we would count our blessings. Maybe you would want to be my wife. I have so much full love for you, and you know it. And I will always love you all my life. Because you're wonderful in every single way. I love the way you move and dance and sway. The day that I first met you is when I found love. Sitting in a chair embarrassing. I had never seen someone as lovely. I really thought that I was in a dream. I know that you don't want me forever. Maybe you just want me for the night. In the morning, we could count our blessings. Maybe you would want to be my wife. I have so much love for you, and you know it. And I will always love you all my life. Because you're wonderful in every single way. I love the way you move and dance and sway. The day that I met you was when I found love. You were sitting in a chair embarrassing. I had never seen someone as lovely. And even now I think you're just a dream. That's it. And even
Lovely.
now I think you're just a dream. And even now I think you're just a dream.
I think it's is that your phone playing it back for us?
No,
No? Oh,
no,
that's weird,
the
isn't it?
phone's not on.
How weird's that?
I know.
I appear to be logged in on my phone, but I still can't get on my PC.
Paul McDermott, Macca.
I've been trying to get on for the last
I know.
Ah, that's what it'll be.
I left my phone on charge, so I didn't spot it until a couple of minutes ago.
Right. Is there any way I can get through on the PC?
Well, the thing I've sent to you should work on the PC. I don't understand. I mean, mind you, I've had problems logging into Zooms before now. Sign out off your phone, Paul, and try. All you should need is to go to zoom.com or whatever it's called and join a meeting in progress and put in the meeting ID and the password in the invite.
Oh, I've now got January the 3rd. I didn't have that before. Leave me here and I'll join you online. I should be able to get it on the PC now.
Go for it, Paul. Be nice to see you. Go and have a little twinkle, and we will hang on for you. Not that we're going anyway. So where's Raven Dave gone, Andy? He's disappeared. He's probably having to water the dogs or something, isn't he?
Water the dogs, mow the kittens, something like that.
Anyway, I'm going to throw a few more things at you about what happened today. Would you believe that today is the anniversary of Steve Jobs registering the Apple Corporation? Would anyone like to hazard a guess what year Apple was formed?
76.
Oh, Brian, what do you think? Are you going to go higher or lower? Higher or lower for the prize?
70.
That was lower, wasn't it? Zoe, higher or lower than 70 for the prize?
I think it was higher.
Higher. How much higher? Are you going to go between Brian and Andy, or do you think Apple was created after 1976?
I would say probably the 90s.
Oh, so well, Dave's not here to be put on the spot about this being a techno child. being a child, probably of using such devices. Have you ever had an iPhone, Andy?
Never had an iPhone, but I've had what did he used to call them? A Macintosh. You know the one where they're like a sort of small computer with
Yeah.
like a thing for your disk drive.
Yeah.
I had one of those, and that was because I worked in an office, and they wanted me
Yeah,
to
yeah.
process things quicker, and it didn't work properly. But it was referred to as a Macintosh. It wasn't a MacBook or anything like that. And that must easily place it around about 1984, 85.
Well,
Oh,
that's
no,
that's when they started bringing them out as computers. You're right. 1977 is when they registered Apple. It's a long time ago, isn't it?
if you think about
It
it,
really is.
Yeah, yeah. So here's two space exploration dates for you.
Oh,
Does anyone know when we launched the Mars Polar Lander? When NASA launched it on this day? What year? Anyone has a guess?
I
When
haven't
did we
got a clue.
launch the Mars Polar Lander?
79.
79. Zoe, what were you going to say?
1970.
No. I would have thought it would be later than 73 because we were still pretty much trying to send men to the moon in 73, give or take, weren't we? So we probably wouldn't have quite gone for Paul. You there? Yeah,
It's all right.
you're in.
Oh, bloody hell. I cannot turn off the bloody phone.
Okay. You should be able to. Dave,
Maybe-
so do you know when we launched the Mars Polar Lander and what year on this day? Any ideas?
No, not at all.
Zoe went for 73, which I think was a bit early. What did you say, Andy?
I
Rhubarb.
said 79.
79.
That sounds about right.
79. Yeah, Brian's disappeared. There's no prizes. Well, we just laugh at you for getting it wrong. I mean, I didn't know either. I only know because I've got it written down in front of me. I hasten to that. 1999 is when we
wow.
launched the Mars Polar Lander.
I think too many people probably worrying about the Millennium Bug at that time.
Yeah, we were, weren't we? Yes, do you remember that? Anyway, Paul, nice to see you. So have you had
Yes,
a
I'm glad to be here.
relatively pleasant festivities and such like?
Well, no real surprise, but after 75 years of marriage, Siobhan lost her grandmother in October,
Yes.
and grandfather decided to go and join her on Christmas Day.
Oh, really? Oh, that's sad. I
So
mean, it's sad
now
to die
all
any time.
over
but-
again.
So is
So
it? Is
far,
that
I've
back
got
in
the plane
Sweden?
tickets, and that's cost £800.
Oh, yeah.
And then there's still the rail transport and
Yeah.
accommodation.
Yeah.
PCR tests, they say from £15. Yeah, you can get £15 one in Keswick. Plus,
Mm.
of course, travel to Scotland is banned.
Yeah.
Cheapest
Is
one in
it?
Liverpool. Cheapest in Liverpool, 40 quid.
Yeah. Oh, that's a bit
Got to have
sad.
that
Hang
on
on a
Saturday
mo.
before she's got to have that on Saturday before she can travel on Sunday.
So
She
you
can't
can
have it
travel.
before Saturday either.
You can. Yeah,
So
I
if
know
anything
you've got to have
goes wrong on
them.
Saturday, she's
hmm.
screwed. Paid for the
Oh.
ticket and can't use it.
So where's she got to go to?
She can get us a Boots in town on
No, for the funeral.
Filipstad, which is Göteborg, Gothenburg,
Hmm.
and then approximately 17 hours north on the train.
So it's a long way to Gothenburg. Yeah. No, I think Dave thought you said Scotland for a minute, but I thought it was
Yeah,
Sweden.
Keswick in Scotland is the only place that's got £15 PCRs.
Oh, I see. Right. Yeah. Yeah. They should. Have
You
been
should be
saved
able
by
to. You
whatever.
should be able to travel into Scotland. Surely, there's.
Oh no, not allowed to go to Scotland or Wales. That's what
Gosh.
she's been told.
Someone should tell the train companies that because there's still
Yeah.
trains running.
Yes. Gosh.
She's been told that she can't travel to Scotland or Wales.
Yeah. Gosh. Yeah.
They changed the rules 3 times while we were booking tickets yesterday.
I can imagine.
Just
Yeah.
4
right.
hours.
Should have just brought
4 hours
a return
online.
to Carlisle and the one on from Carlisle onwards.
Yeah,
4 hours to book tickets to
yeah.
Gothenburg.
Gosh. Oh, well, hopefully in a way, once she's on her way and gets there, it all goes okay. So, young David, are you going to sing something of your own for us? Because you've been doing covers for weeks. We haven't heard anything decent for a while.
Ooh, that's controversial.
Hey, Dave, I'm glad he wasn't there on Thursday night.
Oh, why? I wasn't well. I really wasn't good on Thursday.
I can't recall what happened that night. I thought I was here the whole
Were
time.
you drinking? Were you drinking beer in a pub, David?
Maybe.
I cannot tell a lie, David.
Do you want to play a song whilst I just tune this up?
Yeah. We shall. Yeah, and we'll tell you what. We'll let you go. You tune yourself up, Dave, and we'll come back to you in a minute. So, Paul, have you got anything of notes for us?
Can do again.
If you've got a book event this Saturday, you back to going out and about? Is things happening, or is it all gone a bit quiet?
Things are still relatively quiet. As from Monday next week, I'm on cat sitting duties.
Oh, for Siobhan Sibs for the two kitties, yeah.
But you were talking about covers before, and if you'll allow me to indulge, I've got a little bit of a cover.
Yeah.
In one sense, anyway. I'm gonna have to read it off screen, so you're gonna be you won't see my ugly mug. But it's cover in the sense that it's the name is Bond, Jane Bond.
Oh, okay.
Female version of, and the story so far was basically the safe house, which is in a certain walled village not too far from Thornby. And the safe house has been compromised. So she's off on her Kawasaki, and she's been investigating the local area. And if I've got this right, yeah. Pastor, I need you to hear my confession. Last night I killed a man. Jesus not pure in the Nordic Church on Park Lane, and told Pastor Yerg what had happened on the beach near Thornby the previous night, or more precisely in the early hours of the morning. He listened without comment. So I dare not stay in Liverpool, she concluded, especially when I leave, when I have no idea who's trying to kill me or why. She paused and switched to a faultless Stockholm accent. I need you to issue me with a Swedish passport today. It's too dangerous for me to remain here, and my UK ID has been compromised. I dare not attempt to use my British passport to travel. One more day here in Liverpool might be my last. The sudden switch of language didn't faze Ole Jörg in the slightest. His ear had already identified an otherness in G's English. He didn't doubt for an instant her right to carry a Swedish passport. It can be done. If your life is truly in danger, I'll be failing my duty not to help you. Naturally, you'll be paid an appropriate fee. G bowed, an obedient genuflection, hands clasped humbly to receive absolution, then crossed herself as she rose to her feet. I'll visit the bank while you do whatever you need to do, she promised. I also need to park my motorbike here while I'm away. It may be some time before I need it again. The young female who later slouched her way, short distance from Gustav Adolf's church to Liverpool One bus station, didn't merit a second glance. Frizzy unkempt hairstyle, leather jacket, denims, serviceable riding boots, designed for motorbike, definitely not equestrian. Screamed eternal student over the holidays. She boarded the 500 Airport Express, paid the exact fare with coins, without comment. Following habit, she sat in an exit door halfway back. First call for the new once weekly flight from Liverpool to Göteborg was made as she presented herself with her usual minimum hand luggage to check in. As usual, she timed it perfectly. She left the desk and sauntered through a departure gate. Round the corner, she made a swift attack with a brush. The expert application of a couple of hair clips resulted in the disappearance of the superannuated 60s hippie as she uncurled and stood ramrod straight. Even the seemingly permanent creases in her jeans and checked shirt disappeared, as if by magic. A pair of moderately expensive sunglasses completed the transformation from scruff to suave. Baggage control was extremely efficient, but it wasn't good enough to reveal any of G's undeclared items. She joked with the customs officer about the number of buttons, hooks, hasps, and laces she had to fumble in order to remove her boots, which now more closely resembled a grunge style than the monochrome boots of previous incarnation. None of the extra passports and ID documents, as they were non-metallic, concealed in potential weapons and tools deep in the lining of the boots, showed in the screens. As she passed through X-ray, a handle of a bunch of ignition keys trundled along the luggage belt without arousing comment. Customs were not to know that she didn't actually possess a vehicle which the keys would fit. For one very good reason: they weren't ignition keys. The airport authorities would also be mortified if they'd realised the true contents of the tubes in her cosmetics case, masquerading as a selection of lipsticks, mascara, and so on. Once she charmed her way through customs with a perky smile and a simple nod, all he needed to do was board the plane amongst the last passengers to take their seats. She accepted the coffee offered during the flight, but barely touched it. Little more than an hour later, a favourable tailwind got into Göteborg 5 minutes early. With no hold baggage, she was one of the first passengers to reach passport control, the rucksack slung casually over her shoulder. Control barely glanced at the front and side page of her freshly minted but perfectly legal Swedish passport. Outside the foyer, she walked straight through onto the courtesy bus, which served several drop points. One of these was the tram terminal, where she alighted. She headed towards the terminal, but veered off at the last moment and lost herself in a narrow side street. Within a quarter of an hour, she'd found a small garage, hired a modest off-road scrambler with excellent suspension for prolonged travel over fields and forest footpaths. Despite its size and deserved city appellation, Gothenburg has always been a compact conurbation which refuses to spread and sprawl. Within 10 minutes, she was threading away through the suburbs. Green fields were beginning to appear on all sides. As she reached the outskirts, she pulled onto a service station to make sure the tank was full. She also bought and filled a sturdy reserve can. Where she was headed, fuel stations would be few and far between.
Intriguing stuff.
Ooh.
I think you've shared a little bit of this once in the past, actually, Paul. Is this how near? Where have you gone with this? Because it's
Well, basically, she's started based in Liverpool. And she's been attacked at what they thought was a safe house just outside Thornby. You know, where all the publicity shy footballers and so on live.
Yeah.
So that's basically the house has been compromised. She's already offed a couple of villains, and that's why she wants away from Liverpool. By circuitous route, she's going first to Sweden because there's a vague clue that she's already got. There might be some worth investigating there. And from there, she will basically chased Carnage and caused destruction in half a dozen places through Europe before getting back to Liverpool.
So has he got a working title? Is it?
And not the title usually comes to me while I'm writing. It
Yeah.
hasn't actually hit me yet.
Yeah.
I'm sure it will. But essentially, the last chapter I've just written, she's back in Liverpool, and the medic has discovered that there's a tiny tag at some point being planted in her, which is why they've been able to track her.
Mhm.
And she just figured out that this was probably planted during the original fight in Formby Woods.
Mhm.
So basically, that's why they've been able to track her through Europe.
Yeah.
So
Mhm.
now she's going to go out and sort them out good and proper.
Yeah, it's quite. It's. I mean, it sounds that with Doctor Who going down an alternate route of representation. I suppose to some extent, the likes of James Bond becoming potentially a female is someone was bound to do it at some point, weren't they?
Well, as a matter of fact, one of the daft Christmas films I watched last week is a female lead version of Home Alone.
Yeah.
Well, Christmas Break-In, I think it's called.
Yeah.
It's quite funny, but it's not the first time someone done this sort of homage, I suppose you'd call it.
Yeah. Right, young David, we're gonna have to put you on the spot now, aren't we? Because you've all tuned up, aren't you? Are you back at work, or are you back at work, or have you got another day off?
No, this is the last one today. Last one for a lot of people, really. Not all, obviously, for reasons that we all know too well.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to think which song to do, because I think I'll stick with. The time might be inappropriate, I know, but I'll stick with this one because I know it's liked.
Yes.
Many times in my life, things don't go my way. It drives me completely mad. But even when I'm low, I know you'll be there to show me things are not so bad. In times of frustration, I know all will be okay. You help me to stand tall again with the words that you say. Put things in perspective, make it all so clear. Help me find my inner strength, face the things that I fear. You'll never know what a help you are to me. I'll never know without you where I would be. We'll never know what lies ahead, let's see. But you'll never know what a friend you've been to me. Can't only say I'm grateful, don't feel that it's enough. You always save me from myself on days where I feel so rough. If you need me, then I'll be there. If you don't feel too good to aid you when you are in need, for me, I know that you would. You'll never know what a help you are to me. I'll never know without you where I would be. We'll never know what lies ahead, let's see. But you'll never know what a friend you've been to me. You've always been the one to show that you care. Never letting go, even if you don't know the answer, you'll always be there. You'll never know what a help you are to me. I'll never know without you where I would be. We'll never know what lies ahead, let's see. But you'll never know what a friend you've been to me.
We should
I
clap.
don't-
That's such a lovely song, Dave. I
Thank
mean,
you.
are you any nearer to you were sort of working on going to get back to recording, weren't you? You know, you were going to re-record stuff, or you're going to record new stuff. Where I've slightly lost the thread of where you were at with recording.
Well, after compiling the small EP
Your EP,
this that is done. The tracks are on there now. I mean, that ship's all ready to set sail into the horizon.
Well, I mean, Andy's had to disappear. He's had something crop up, as you might have noticed. But have you heard if the open mic concert festival thing is still going on the 22nd of January or not?
I'd not heard that it had been anything about it. I know it was happening, but I didn't know if anything changed at all.
Yeah,
or-
no. I just wondered with what might be perceived as have we had any alterations in regulations and COVID and all that? Whether or not the venue had, we're still keen to gather musicians and audiences together and let
really?
people entertain and have a good time.
It's a bit like being in a casino, really. This whole thing, really, where you don't really know what the outcome is until the wheel is spun or the dice are rolled.
Well,
really,
the
That
thing-
lady
the thing-
sings,
What was that, Paul?
and that lady sings.
Indeed.
that too.
Yeah. I don't think we've got a fat lady lined up for that gig, actually, have we? Unfortunately, so it's.
Well, I'm not a woman, but I can be fat. I can play the fat part if you want.
So if it goes ahead, it's going to be Saturday the 22nd of January at Murphy's Bar and Distillery on the Dock Road, Regent Road, the Dock Road, and it's going to be roughly 2 till 10. I think was that the gist of arrangements, and a variety of artists, and a bit of poetry at some point. I think was penciled in, wasn't it? There was going to be a little.
There was poetry penned in, I believe so. Right, different writers' forms rather than just solely music, because there was I forget the dates that we did the last one there, but apart from the main act, there wasn't. It was predominantly music only. Really, there wasn't really much else. Go on, Tony.
I was going to say, I mean, we sometimes forget that poetry done as a performance is just as engaging as singing in a song. I mean, sometimes more so. You get a direct connection with the lyric, with the words, don't you?
Sometimes I think that really lyrics to songs is probably the simplest form of the written word, really, because it's to some degree it's quite limited to the music that it has to work around, whereas poetry, novels, they're complete free form. There's no real as much concern about how many words you need to include, or where you sometimes have to be wary about how much time of music you have to put words into. I mean, it's like I think you mentioned, Zoe, before about like words and syllables. Like for every line of a song, you can write a load of words out, but then you find out, oh, there's too many syllables in that line, and you have to find a different word that compacts it.
It's going to stick.
Yeah,
It's-
and it's annoying sometimes. I mean, one thing which I have actually thought about. I mean, as I mentioned before, now the EP is done. I don't really. I'm wanting to actually be a bit more. I wouldn't say necessarily poetic, but at least be a little more freeform with lyric writing. So it's not just a load of words that match with a hook or a melody. You know, something that tells a bit more of a story narrative, because I like songs that do that well. And there are some songs out there that really do that really well.
Were you with us when I played Jenny Colquitt's song at the start? Had you signed in?
Yes, I was listening to that. I love that.
Yeah, it's good,
no,
isn't
I
it?
do.
Yeah.
She's great voice, but I got to admit that piano line reminded me of a song I can't remember, but the timbre of the music, I think it reminded me of a song I'd heard some. I'll have to look it up.
I think that's quite common, isn't it? You know,
it's an easy trap to fall into, isn't it?
It is. Yeah, no. But should be playing. I think she's playing in February, Jenny. I'll have to find out more, but she's certainly someone I'm keen to go and see live and support. And she's on Facebook and Twitter. You can easily find her, Jenny Colquitt. But you know, she's definitely, you know, got a great voice, yeah. And she's just as good live as she is on the record, which is nice. Because sometimes with a powerful vocal, it's produced, isn't it? You know what? You know, the producer, you know, double tracks the voice or adds some echo, or you know, does things to make it sound even better. But to be fair, genuinely, her voice is spot on live as it is on record. She's great.
Well, sometimes, I mean, a voice like that, yeah, you can do all sorts with it. I mean, I know some artists who either their vocals are good, but they're not as brilliant as that. So they often hire like guest vocalists to play varying roles. I mean, like for example, like albums like, you know, Tommy or Quadrophenia. There's one album which a friend of mine in London has, and it's almost like a story told album, you know, from beginning to an end, telling a story, but with the inclusions of characters in it. There's different vocalists playing the different roles of each character, so it goes back and forth from points of view. And I just thought that must be a heck of a lot of work, but I admire it that actually it's thinking just beyond the music, you know, and just a simple. I mean, nothing wrong with pop music, but sometimes it's really good to see experimentation that works really well.
Yeah. Well, I mean, Tommy was one of the first albums to do that back in the 60s, wasn't it? You know, it certainly was amongst the first, if not the first concept, sort of rock opera. You know, can't really think of anything immediately that was, well known or successful before it. You know, so.
Not to that level. I mean, things probably maybe came close. I mean, there's some wonder whether Sgt. Pepper was, but I don't think it necessarily was. I think there was maybe a recurring theme, but not to that level.
Well, I mean, but Tommy's got one storyline that you have to follow as you listen to each song. In a way, you wouldn't listen to many of the songs out of context of the story that they're telling, would you? I mean, whereas Sgt. Pepper, you know, you could play either side and not know you were playing the wrong side effectively. Yeah.
Or you could listen to any song and not need to listen to like the one before it or the one after that, exactly. Or the whole album.
Yeah, exactly. Anyway, listen, I'm going to give you two more facts of today to see if these resonate with you and if anyone knows them. So in 1996, the world's first clamshell flip mobile phone was launched. Can anyone remember that far back? Can anyone remember the world's first flip phone, clam phone? They were the rage. They went on to sell 60 million units. So can anyone remember who did the first flip phone? Go on, Dave. Who do you think it was? Really got a choice.
If I had to guess the people I know, I would say my late nan, because she definitely got one.
Yeah, but what manufacturer? Who came up with it?
Oh,
You know, you've got Nokia and Sony and whatever.
I would guess Nokia, but I
You're
probably
going
would
for
be wrong.
Nokia. Paul Macker, can you remember that far back to mobile phones? 1996, and the first
Yeah, well, I mean,
clam phone.
I know what you mean. The clam phones, the fold up.
Yeah, 60 million, Michelle. That's
And
frightening, isn't
I
it?
never went for that sort of thing.
Yeah,
All I
so
can remember is, I think, is this is it Men in Black? Where is
I think they might have. Yeah,
is the
yeah.
little tiny thing that was about the size of a bloody matchstick.
Yeah, so Paul can't remember the manufacturer. Zoe, who created the flip open phone? Any ideas? Can you remember that far back? You're too young. You and Dave.
I see some.
Who what?
Nokia.
Dave said Nokia. So two votes for Nokia. Brian's disappeared again. I'll tell you, Motorola. Dave, Motorola.
Motorola. Oh,
Yeah. Do they still make phones? I mean, they were a big player. Them and Nokia were two of the big names back in the day, weren't they?
It's almost like their equipped back then. Pretty much now, what Canon and Nikon are for cameras now. Pretty much, really. They're the main two players.
Yeah. So 60 million clamshell flip mobile phones. It's taken Samsung all that time to make one that works. Do you remember they tried to launch one a couple of years ago and the joint kept breaking, didn't it? With the Samsung one, their folding phone. The first attempt at it didn't go very well, did it?
I actually remember someone actually joking, saying they're probably all made from the exact same place, regardless of the name on them. And the level of quality of each one deemed the quality of it was decided then, okay, if it's really, really good, okay, that one then goes on. That was
You might have a point, yeah. There's mobile phone manufacturers like my daughter's got one made by a company called Oppo, OPPO. I've never heard of them, but she's quite happy with it. She's quite happy.
Yeah,
with
it's like a Friday afternoon at Volkswagen, isn't it?
Yeah. So Brian, would you have known who created the world's first flip phone? Have you got one? What make is yours?
Nokia.
So Dave and Zoe thought Nokia. Yeah. I thought you were an iPhone man. I thought you had an iPhone.
I've got an iPhone now. Got the daughter, but I feel like throwing it in the bin half the time.
Yeah, so would you go back?
My mate had one. He calls it the die phone.
There's one of those phones.
Oh, sure. That's the original Nokias, yeah.
I don't know if it's the phone itself or the provider. I mean, Siobhan and I both use, both got. Well, I've got Vodafone. Well, I've also got a SIM card for giffgaff.
Yeah,
and giffgaff to giffgaff is free wherever you are. So when she's over in Sweden, I can call her free on a gift card.
That used to be the thing, didn't it, with networks? That's why me, the ex-wife, and both kids, we all ended up on O2 because you had free calls and texts to each other. But it's less common now, I think.
There's my first phone, Tony.
Look at that!
Wow!
Wow! Starsky and Hutch housebreak.
That looks like a walkie-talkie off the bill or something.
I know. Look at it.
Yeah.
And that's the case.
Does it still work, Brian? Does it still work?
Well, I probably does have a plugged it in, but I'm not sure where to plug it. But it was fluorescent. It wasn't like a lit up screen. It was just like a green screen.
Yeah.
I remember I used to look at it.
You know, could be worth something like that.
Well, probably, but it's an Ericsson.
Sony Ericsson, yeah.
Sony Ericsson,
yeah.
They invented the green screen of death, didn't they?
Well, there you go.
So anyway, I've got two more facts of the day for you. So back in 1496, who allegedly invented the first flying machine?
The Wright brothers.
Wright brothers, wasn't it?
1496.
Well, I was the wrong brothers then. It was the wrong brothers.
1496.
Sketched out a
Yeah, go on. You want to get there,
hot
Paul?
air
Go.
balloon, I think it was.
Mhm.
I think it was hot air balloon.
No. It was a winged item. It wasn't a hot air balloon. You're thinking of Blériot or something like that. No, this person is possibly the most famous person who's done art and creativity ever.
Oh,
Go on, Dave.
Da Vinci, was it?
Yeah, Leonardo da Vinci. He
Knew that,
wasn't
I knew that,
successful.
but I didn't want to say.
He designed it and built it, but it didn't fly. But he had the idea that he knew how to do it, and that was 1496.
Are you absolutely sure he didn't also design a hot air balloon?
I can't remember. I mean, he designed pretty much everything. He was just amazingly talented, wasn't he? We'll have to do a quick bit of research when someone's singing a song, won't we? Sorry, Dave, what were you going to say about Leonardo?
No, it's just with regards to like the vintage flying machines. I wonder if that all gave birth to the steampunk aesthetic.
Oh,
You know,
very much so. Yeah, I think
You
very
know,
much so.
which was like an abstract of like modern, like future sci-fi and Victorian all
That's right.
merged together.
Yeah,
It looks artistically delightful, but so outlandish at the same time.
Yeah. Well, there's a superhero film with that type of angle, isn't there? I can't remember which one now, but vaguely with Sean Connery was in it. Quite an old superhero film.
Well, there's that particular Doctor Who series where he meets an earlier version of himself.
And they've
Victorian
done that a few times now, haven't they, with Doctor Who?
Yeah.
I mean, they had the whole. Don't know if anyone watched it at the weekend, but they had the whole episode was 1 minute different every time you watched it. It was sort of clever, but I'm just getting a bit fed up with it now. It needs not to have the Daleks in or not to have the Cybermen in.
The thing is, it's not so much that. I think it's more the stories they're telling, really, and they just need to be a bit more.
Well, we all know
creative.
roughly what a Dalek is and how they act and what they say and what they do. You know, the only change ever was when they could suddenly fly, because previously you ran upstairs to get away from them, didn't you? You know, they weren't very good at going.
Now they go upstairs, don't they?
They do now. They do.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well,
you know,
there's the other series, because it gets done to death. How many different versions of Star Trek are there?
Oh, several.
Yeah, I still like the original one. Is it Enterprise with Jonathan Archer? Purely for the introduction music. I love the music to that series.
Yeah. No, they often do good theme tunes, sci-fi, don't they? Let's be honest. Yeah. And here's your other one. Okay, so when did the word automobile first get used? How far back do we have to go to when the word automobile was first used?
1940s?
1940s.
Zoe, what do you say?
About 1945.
40s for Zoe, 40 for Dave. Brian, when do you think we first...
1925.
Okay, Paul, higher or lower?
I'm going to go back BC, actually, because also and mobile are both Greek words.
Ah, yes, they are.
So I'll go back BC.
Yeah, okay, you're being far too clever.
No, he's right. He's right, because in the Bible it said Moses went up the mountain, right, and come down on his triumph.
Oh, indeed.
That's true.
It did. Very true. Yeah.
So the cars were there then.
Well, just so you know, it was in the New York Times in 1899 when someone actually coined use of the word automobile. But you're right, Paul. Yes, I mean the common origin of the words does go back, as a lot of them do. You know, so it's whether or not they were combined, isn't it? You know, that's the thing. Anyway, Zoe, have you some archives to hand? Have you got a couple of little pieces you could do for us?
In grief she came, feet wrapped on window. Let the magic Christmas not wane. I lived my life. I drove the car as angels struck me. We can't even say, do not weep, but just the Today is yours. To live it well, and my life will not have been in vain.
Yeah,
Very good.
very good.
Gosh. That's one of your more proper meaningful ones, Zoe.
Yeah.
Have you got another one to hand? There was one you had. There was one I did see, one or two you posted this week. I think the hard thing is it's finding them in order when you're looking for them on your phone or whatever you store them, isn't it?
That can be the advantage of doing it on your phone, though, because you can always just do something new if you can't remember what you've announced.
Ah, yes.
But you can go, always go into the one that you want to. You're probably going to find after the meeting.
Yeah. That's
It's
true.
never there if you want it. As soon as you're long. The jumping one.
Yeah, please.
Okay, this one I've just done it. Ring the bells, let cheering up from the ice and grounds. Just for the day, do not fear, instead, bounce, embrace, kiss. It's a virus lives on, so too does love. Display that hope, let joy ring out. Step from the shadows, step to the shadows and into light.
Oh yes, I like that. Yeah, I mean, you do sometimes come up with ones that have got a real power and meaning that you know, just considering you do write short pieces generally. I mean, you did do one a few weeks ago that was, you know, a flash fiction that was the equivalent of pages rather than a page, but you know, to manage to get over feeling and intensity and meaning in what 50 words or so is quite an art form, Zoe. So you know, you've got to take pride in the fact that you're getting continually good, coming up with the right words in the right order and getting your feelings and your meanings over, you know, without embellishment in a way. You know, it's all literally just enough words to get the feeling and the meaning across. So, you know, love it. That was that. I'm hopefully others will agree. Yes.
Yeah, very much so.
Brian's drinking something then. He's getting quiet about that. He didn't offer
I know I'm having a glass of wine, Tony.
You didn't offer me any.
Well, it's here when you want it. When you come round, there's a bottle of wine here for you.
We've all got drinks.
And a curry. And a curry.
And a cut. Yes, you do me a prawn curry.
And a cuddle.
Oh, I like a cuddle. I like a little cuddle now and again.
A wine, a curry, and a cuddle. What do you want, Tony?
I'm taken. I'm coming. Dave, you're gonna have to think of another song in a minute or two.
Well, I mean, I was gonna try something.
Go on, yeah, go on. Plan the thinking of doing something. You plan the thinking of doing something. I'm gonna do the second birthday quiz while you get your brain in gear for singing something else for us.
Well, this one's not really sung because it's not really got music to it yet, but it's a set of words I've written, so I don't know.
Wow. Okay. Yeah. You're going to share something brand new with us.
Yeah, as I say,
Dave,
it's a work in progress, but
Excellent.
Oh, we're looking forward to that. Let's throw the birthday names out and see how we get on with these. In no particular order: Cicero, Stephen Stills, John Paul Jones, Michael Schumacher, and Greta Thunberg. Anyone want to have a guess at ages of any of those? I think one of them's easier than the others. Cicero's been around a while. So when was Cicero born? How many hundred years ago was Cicero? Paul McDermott might know this.
About 300.
Cicero, you're saying about 300?
that the
Dave?
Lone Rangers, mate?
No, that was Tonto.
Oh, that was Cisco, wasn't it? Sorry, Cisco.
You're thinking of
The
Cisco
Cisco
Kid.
kid I'm thinking of.
Cicero
Sorry,
was a
Tony.
Roman philosopher, lawyer, and politician. Paul, when was Cicero around?
Pre-Caesar, so that makes it AD 20.
Oh, wow, that's a good guess. Dave, before or after AD 20? Are you going to go BC or later AD?
I'll go BC, I think,
You'll
maybe.
go BC.
Yeah.
Are you going just BC or 50 years or 100 years?
Oh, no, I wouldn't know for certain, really.
No,
I wouldn't
yeah.
want to put.
Yeah, Brian, quick guess. from you.
I don't even know who it is, Tony. So I'm
Cicero,
not going to guess.
100 BC, basically. 106 BC. He was
Oh,
he's pretty old, isn't he? He's about the oldest person we've met tonight, I think. So
Apart
who
from
else we
you.
got? Indeed, Stephen Stills, John Paul Jones, Michael Schumacher, or Greta Thunberg. So come on, Zoe. How old's Greta Thunberg?
about 40?
Greta Thunberg about 40?
She's looking good for 40.
Yeah. Paul, what do you reckon, Macca? What do you
I
reckon, Greta
think
Thunberg?
she's actually just past school leaving age. I think she's 19 by now.
Yeah, that's sounding good. Dave, where were you on Greta Thunberg?
I would have thought a bit younger than that. I would have thought maybe 16 or 17.
Yeah, 17 I
around-
was going to go for.
Been around a couple of years now, though, hasn't she?
Yeah, I'm just trying. I don't know if when she made that first speech to the UN, which she became pretty famous for. I'm just wondering, I don't know if it was maybe about 14 then, but I could be wrong. But it's definitely that age area anyway.
Yeah, she's 19, like Paul. I think Paul said.
Right,
19.
right.
Consider what she's done in such a short life. It's amazing, isn't it? Really. So you've got
It's
Stephen
something.
Stills, John Paul Jones, or Michael Schumacher. Anyone going to have a guess at any of them?
Oh,
John Paul Jones, 67.
Ooh, that's a good guess, isn't it?
no, it'd be old.
Very good guess.
I would have said early 70s by now.
You think? Yeah. So you're going 70s. Ooh, Paul Macca. You were probably friends with him back in school days.
Well, there was a guy called John Paul who was actually in a year or two younger than me, which would put him in his late 60s now. But are we talking about John Paul Jones, the musician, John Paul
Yeah.
Jones, the cricket player, John Paul
No.
Jones,
The bass player
US senator?
in Led Zeppelin. Yeah.
All right, we're talking about the musician,
Yeah.
not the cricket player or the US senator.
Yeah.
No. No.
Hmm.
You think you'd have with some of these people? You think you'd know how old they are? I mean, I
No.
didn't know either.
I'd go-
I'd have been guessing.
66,
I-
7.
I
Yeah.
sent you Led Zeppelin's Kashmir,
You did.
Tony.
Yes.
I played it about 20 times in the last week and a half.
Yeah.
I
It's a
just
good
love
song.
it.
It's better than Stairway for
Oh,
sure.
yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And the Immigrants.
1940
as well, another good one.
1946, John Paul Jones.
Yeah.
So he's a tiny bit younger than I thought he was. So only by a smidgen. Only by a smidgen. So is Michael Schumacher younger or older than John Paul Jones? What do we think? Michael Schumacher.
I think younger.
He's younger.
Younger.
Yeah.
He's
But is he
definitely
younger or older than me?
Oh, everyone's younger than you, Tony.
We all
Thank you for that, Brian. Thank you for that, Brian.
My turn.
This was the most unkindest cut of all. All the
Michael
person
Schumacher,
said only
I am
he
blown
did
away
that they
by
did
that.
an envy
Michael
of great
Schumacher
people.
is younger than me. I find that mind blowing because he seems to have been a racing driver for a long time, but he's younger than me. I think that's quite scary. I'm a better driver than him.
I know. I've seen you driving, Tony.
Were you driving the safety car then, Tony, during all those Formula One?
Yeah.
Well, you've drove me up the wall and round the bend a few
Oh,
times.
very good. Very good. So come on then. When was Michael Schumacher born? Anyone there? Anyone gonna have a guess? I'm 66 and he's younger than me. 1966, Dave, that is.
Well, what do you think I was going to say? Oh,
Year
Are we
of
getting any
the
prizes for tonight, Tony?
late 60s, 70s, early 70s, I would have thought.
You
year
think,
of the
yeah,
champs, 1964.
1969 he was born.
That's when I started painting oils.
Really? You shared one of them the other day on your Facebook.
Yeah.
I saw it. That's
Yeah.
frightening, isn't it? And the
Oh,
last
yeah.
one from Crosby, Stills, Nash and Young, Stephen Stills. So when was he born? Anyone got an idea? Younger or older than John Paul Jones?
Younger.
Younger, says Brian.
Yeah.
Ooh, I'd say it's pretty close between them two. I mean, they were more or less going around about the same time, around that 60, 70. So that if there can't be that much of a difference.
Well done, Dave. Dave is nailing it. Dave is nailing it. It's 1 year older than John Paul Jones.
Yeah.
1945. Yeah. Oh, there we have it.
Because like didn't they do like warm up like tours with like some bands back then as well as performing solo like as main acts themselves?
Yeah, I mean they were very, very in the mix, weren't they? Woodstock and Isle of Wight and all that. That was the period, wasn't it? And I mean Crosby, Stills, Nash and Young go Ohio. Do you know that song about the massacre at the school that Neil Young wrote? I mean, that's a good song. That's a good song. So you're writing poetry now, Dave. Are you going to treat...
I wouldn't call it poetry, but it's an attempt at writing. It's an attempt at writing lyrics, and the idea behind it really came from trying to. I mean, best this way. I mean, it's because it's almost like trying to almost talk to like a fictional character, in the sense of and how to convey or put across a message to them of what they're doing that could be wrong. Because the title I've got is "What Do You Have?" and the words so far go as this: "Hand of two you receive. Can you bluff and deceive? One more look at the hand. Consider where you stand. Chips are down. Are you in? Do you think that you can win? With the pair that you hold, should you raise or just fold? What do you have to use? But what do you have to lose?"
Wow, I like it. So that's where you're at with it. So you're about halfway. You're about halfway there, then, aren't you? I would imagine.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean,
it's hard not writing a chorus. Is that the thing? As a singer, predominantly, you naturally want people to, hear the refrain, hear the repeat line, hear the chorus. So when you're writing something new like this, have you found it hard not to repeat the refrain?
I can't really say it's the same for everything, and sometimes it can happen easily. Sometimes it can really take a bit of time. Sometimes it can involve like rearranging everything that you've written down originally, because you then realize that part of the verse works better as the refrain than where it was originally. But whereas, I mean, I kind of borrowed the aesthetic a little bit with the songs done before, like for example, the one with the traveling to work on the train, that sort of thing. Using that biographical narrative of somebody's in a situation. But with this, I decided to take a bit more of, shall we say, everyday situation. Like, for example, this one, the first thing that I thought of was, well, what do you say to somebody who's got a gambling addiction?
Yeah, well, a lot of people have, haven't they? All you see in there, I mean, I don't watch a lot of telly, but I do watch a bit of football with my dad and my son. And the whole thing is, every advert is how to gamble and most of the team shirts have got 365 Bet on, or Paddy Power or William Hill. You know, it's a big thing, isn't it, gambling?
Yeah, and that was another
No,
thing.
I've never been into it. You know,
I
I
haven't.
did smoke for a while. I do drink sometimes, but you know, I've never been into gambling ever. I've never felt the need to waste money and hope that I'm going to get more back than I started with. It just doesn't work for me.
Another part of the thing, which is a bit further down, the thing was necessarily about trying to come out of gambling. It's about, you know, how playing it safe and how taking a risk, it might not be worth it, you know, taking that risk. It's like play it safe and just stop, or risk it all for the top. Do you know the full cost, or what's at stake if you lost?
It's very resonant. That's good. It's shaping up nicely, Dave. You've definitely got something. So is that the first new thing you've written for like?
It is.
6
Well,
months, I
it is,
think?
yeah. And it's actually probably one of the first times I actually haven't got any music for it yet.
Yeah.
So I've got to really
How does
form
that
music.
feel then? I mean, are you more a strummer and get a nice little melody and then think, oh, I wonder what I mean with this melody, and you start trying to piece lyrics into the melody, or do you work both ways? I mean, what's your process so far?
Most of the time, the music does come first, and I usually try to find something that fits, you know, or at least
You
fits.
hum when you're playing your music, and you sit there and sort of just hum, hoping the words are going to suddenly replace hums effectively.
Well, up until now, I've really thought more as of the composition first, just because I enjoy doing it. So, but I've never whilst doing that and enjoy doing that, my main regret has never really been to think about, well, you're writing all this music. Well, what's going to fit lyrically to this? And with the first 6, you know, it took, well, 5 in the case, because one of them is instrumental. It took quite a bit. I mean, I think only You'll Never Know and Hey There Mama didn't take too long. The other 3 really took quite some time to at least form the final words to get there. I mean, I think Life Support, one of the longest ones on there, probably had about 4 or 5 variations. I mean, I think I found the theme pretty quickly, but again, it's the use of words, and I do really hate repeating words, but sometimes I found that scrolling through and say, hang on, you're using that word way too many times. Change it to something
Well,
else.
that's the same editing process as in a novel or short stories, isn't it, Paul and Zoe? I mean, you know, one of the first things you ever say to yourself is, if I use the same word over and over again, it's boring. For me, the creative, you know, the writer, as much as it is for the person reading it or
Yeah, but it depends why you use that same word.
Go on, Zoe, what?
It depends on why you're using the same word though. So if say you was dealing with a character who, I don't know, had dementia, for argument's sake, it can form quite a natural process because they're going to repeat themselves.
That's true. That's a very fair point. Yeah.
It so much depends on the context.
Yeah.
And sometimes you
No,
kind
that's
of.
true. That's very much. Yeah.
I mean, it's like, for example, I like the song "Hey Jude," for example, by the Beatles, but I think the outro just goes way too long.
Oh yeah, I couldn't agree more.
Too long.
Yeah.
And I understand that there's that level of that. It's that mindset in the brain that really warms to familiarity. So when you hear it again and again and again, it sticks in the memory, almost like an earworm. So everyone's like, "Oh, I know this one. Yeah, this is the chorus. Everyone knows it." But it can stifle the creativity if there's just one constant and nothing, no left turns or right turns.
Can I put in a quick plug here, Dave?
Of course you can, Macca.
You just mentioned that. Anyone who has bought and read Game Set, which is set in Sefton Park, when you get to the final chapter, that particular song takes on its own significance.
Well, the Hey Jude does.
Yeah.
Okay, I've got a copy of the book upstairs. I'm gonna have to
Yeah,
read it now, aren't I?
Just
Yeah.
have a look at the end of it.
Yeah. Okay.
Basically, the height of the height of the story is that this teenage rock band put together a charity concert to raise money to save the park.
Excellent. Which sounds like
And
might be needed.
that's like their closing number, which everyone is singing off the top of their heads as they wander off out of the park and back home at about 3 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah. Very good.
God,
So
I think Bruce Springsteen's been outdone there.
Yeah. So here's one for you. 2009 is when Bitcoin was invented. 2009. I thought it was only about 2 years old. It's been around that long. Some Japanese guy created it. The Genesis block. Satoshi Nakamoto created the Genesis block of Bitcoin.
Oh, wasn't he involved with
2009.
like Sega?
Oh, possibly.
The early computer game consoles. I'm sure that name does ring a bell.
Yeah. Well, 2009. Is it worth anything yet?
And it's
I
still
wouldn't touch it with a barge pole.
I just don't get the concept of it. It's like me imagining I'm a millionaire. I can imagine I'm a millionaire, but I can't spend any of that money.
They're trying to push for a cashless society. Some people are, aren't they? Really.
Oh,
But the problem is,
I know.
with a system like that, what determines the actual value of whatever cryptocurrency you own is, and that's the thing I don't trust with it.
Yeah, no, it's very strange, isn't it? Anyway, listen, I'm going to share another song from my little collection. So I'm going to play you a new Robert Plant song off his new album, Raise the Roof. Now, I say Robert Plant. I really should say Alison Krauss and Robert Plant. If you've not heard them together, you're in for a treat because they are superb.
Take me down to the river, lift me high upon the flood, and there will be no turning back. And I must find my love, I must find my love, I must find my love. Well, now meet me in the bottom with the serpents and the vine, and I must shout out loud, will she still be mine? Will she still be mine? Will she still be mine? I shall not rest upon the highway, I will not tire nor despair. I shall conspire, I will be there. I'll make a deal, I'll dance in hell, I'll sing out loud and louder, yeah. I will open every door, yeah. I'm conversating out in the wild woods with the lion and the dove, and if I should lose my mind, there I must find my love, there I must find my love, there I must find my love. Leave me high on the mountain with the naked and the free. And if I should bare my soul, would she still care for me? 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 I shall not rest upon the highway, I will not tire nor despair. I shall conspire, I will be there. I'll make a deal, I'll dance in hell, I'll sing out loud and louder, yeah. I will open every door. seven seas. So all alone, so high and lonesome. Does she still think of me? Does she still think of me? Does she still think of me?
Oh,
Interesting.
it is interesting. Great album. They released an album about 10 years ago, Alison Krauss and Robert Plant, and they were going to carry on, and I don't know what happened, but they had a big fallout. So it's taken them nearly 10 years to become friends again. But if you've got time on Spotify or YouTube or whatever, highly recommend it. It's one of them albums that every song is good on its own, but when you listen to them one after the other, they just get better. And he's still got a good voice, hasn't he, Robert Plant?
Yeah.
Yeah, because
yeah,
definitely. He's around the
Certainly got
70 mark, isn't he?
Yeah.
Compared
Cool.
with Sir Elton John, bless him, Sir Paul McCartney.
Oh,
I think
I
I'd
know.
rather go out and listen to Robert Plant
Oh,
sing live. Yeah.
He's looked after his voice for certain. I mean, don't know what the secret is, but he's definitely known to look after his voice for sure.
Yeah. But no,
Because
so
I
I
remember-
thought you might like that.
Well, remember Brian when you mentioned about Kashmir before Brian sending Kashmir to you? I mean,
Yeah.
that was that one-off concert he did with Led Zeppelin. I think it was 2007. I think. It might
Yeah.
be.
yeah,
Right,
when
I've
they
got
when
the-
they got back
yeah.
together again.
Yeah, for that one, and they did Kashmir as one of the closing ones, and
Oh,
some of the
doesn't it?
singing he did in that was just
And John
Timeless,
Bonham's son on the drums.
Yeah, Jason. Yeah.
Incredible.
I mean, in that
But-
song in particular, he really let it all out, and
well,
it just
do you
like
know if you play his early stuff,
Mhm.
his voice is practically the same.
yeah.
It's just because I keep playing the two. I keep playing like the 1970s version or whatever, and this one, and it's just. But I love watching Jimmy Page. He
Yeah.
makes
A friend
me-
of mine,
he's
I
brilliant.
shared a couple of photos today and yesterday just because I was sat. I've had an ear infection for the last few days, so I've been deaf in my right ear. But I'm friends with a guy called Frank Cottrell Boyce, who's a really good writer, and he went to the Hay on Wye Festival a couple of years ago and did a talk for kids. And then there was a talk by an adult author that he really wanted to go to, but he didn't have a ticket. Anyway, there's this guy in the audience at his talk who got talking to him when he was signing books. And he says, oh, how come you're not in a hurry to go to the talk by, I'm going to say Kashi Ishiguro, someone really famous who writes for adults. He goes, well, I would like to go, but I haven't got a ticket. And this chap says, well, tell you what, I've got a spare. Do you want to come? You can come with me. I've got a spare ticket. He says, are you sure? He says, yeah, sure. I've got two. Someone was meant to be coming with me. I'm on my own. So if you want to come, we'll go together. So in they go to listen to this talk by this famous adult author. So the talk finishes, they both queue up, get their book signed. And they're coming out of this talk, and the guy who Frank's with says, did you enjoy it? He says, great. He says, you don't know who I am, do you? And Frank said, no, I haven't got a clue. He said, I was quite a famous singer a while back. I'm Robert Plant from Led Zeppelin.
Oh,
So
you're
he
joking.
sat next to Robert Plant.
Wow.
I mean, the idea of not recognising someone, inverted commas, that famous, is just, and Frank likes the music. It's not that he's oblivious to the music, but he didn't know it was Robert Plant. He just didn't.
Can I add something to that, Tony? It just reminded me.
Yeah.
Years ago, I was going to Spain, right? And I booked the ticket and I didn't. All I had was this little tiny bit of paper, and I didn't know what the hell to do with it. And when I got to the airport, there was this big tall guy standing by me, and I said, "Excuse me," I said, "all I've got is this bit of paper from my flight." I said, "But I don't know what to do." He said, "Oh," he said, "You just show it." He said, "Yeah, follow me. I'll show you what to do." So I walked to the end of the line. The pair of us talked and talked and talked. At the end, his wife or his girl was waiting for him, and he said, "Ta-ra," off he went, and I got my ticket. Got on the plane, and the hostess said, the seats are at the back of the plane. I said, "I don't want to sit at the back of the plane." I said, "I need someone at the front to stretch my legs." So she went, "Oh, there is no one." And this guy that I've been talking to said to me, "Yeah, I can sit here with us, there's a seat." Right, so I sat with him, and he was drinking champagne with him, his wife, offering me the champagne all the way there. I didn't take any, but got off the plane, having a conversation when we were both walking, and he said to me, "I don't know if you know who I am," he said, "I'm Mike England." He said, I'm the manager for Wales, and I used to play for England." And I said the classic words, "It doesn't mean nothing to me." It didn't. I just said, "Oh, it doesn't mean nothing to me." I said, "But lovely to meet you." I said, "What a boss guy."
That's classic, isn't it?
So
You
just
sometimes just don't know how famous someone else is, really.
Yeah, I
I have
clue.
it all the time. People meet me all the time, and they never realise it's me.
I know who you are,
till afterwards.
and I know where you live.
I know.
And I've even got your phone number.
Indeed. So here's one from the archives. What year did the Eiffel Tower nearly burn down on this day? So the Eiffel Tower had a really bad fire damage.
The day that you ran out of matches.
Indeed. Anyone want to have a guess? How long back was it that the Eiffel Tower nearly burned down?
I didn't even know that.
Anyone remember it? Anyone aware of it?
I didn't even know that, Tony.
Imagine there would have been a bit of a furore over it. Like when Paul Notre Dame went up the other year. The cathedral.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know.
1956, the Eiffel Tower nearly burnt down.
Oh,
Wow. I would have thought that something could have been close to having that during the middle of the Second World War, with the amount of...
Yeah, and that would be my thought.
Cameras weren't that good at aiming.
Yeah. And on this day in 1958, the West Indies was federated they stopped having to be seen entirely as British Commonwealth. 1958, the West Indies basically they gained their own federation of individual government. So there's another date from history for you.
That was when we gave up trying to teach them cricket and they started teaching us.
Indeed, yeah. I think well, we seem to have gone down the lines of it's my bat and I'll swing it as hard as I want. And if the W.G. Grace approach to cricket, it's my bat and ball, I'll say when I'm out.
Yeah.
They're not doing too well at the moment, bless them, are they?
Did they ever?
Bit of a shame. And what else have we got for you on today? 1749, the first issue of Denmark's oldest continually operating newspaper was published. 1749.
10-6. 10-6.
I don't know. It's called the Berlingska. Berlingska. The Berlingska. 1749. That's pretty old, isn't it? It's amazing when you look up what happened on this day in history. The all sorts of strange things that happened. Martin Luther was excommunicated from the Catholic Church in 1521 because he had to go printing his own Bible, didn't he?
Oh,
yeah, it's true. Yeah, Martin Luther created the printing press. And the only thing people printed back in those days was religious material, and he was excommunicated for printing his own Bible. Yeah, seriously. 1521 by Pope Leo the
I
10th.
know I've told you this before, Tony, but I think it was my great-great-great-grandfather was a scribe.
Really?
Martin
Yeah.
Luther's
Yeah, he was a
excommunicated.
scribe, and that's all. That's proof that I've got all of
Yeah.
the document, if you like, or whatever it's called,
Oh,
to
yeah.
prove that.
Anyway,
and
Dave.
Sorry.
No, go on, Brian. No, you carry
Yeah,
on.
and we were related to the Hardmans of Hardman Street.
Really?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, definitely.
Gosh.
You
Yeah.
know, and we've
It's
got
funny what
connections.
you find out of family history and whatever, isn't it? I mean, we
Mm.
haven't really got anyone hugely famous in our family. My great-great-great-granddad or great-great-great-great-granddad was at Rorke's Drift, when, the Zulu uprising.
Yeah,
He was
wow.
he was one of the British soldiers.
Wow, that must have
at
been
Rorke's Drift.
horrifying.
And his name gets used
For
as one of
everyone.
the characters in the film Zulu, the famous film.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I know.
he's one of his name was used as one of the named British, colonels or majors. Don't know for sure he was a colonel or a major, but he certainly was at that battle anyway at Rorke's Drift. Yeah.
Do you remember when we were on the hill and the fella said, "Can you sing?" Because he was Welsh or something, and he goes, "Yeah, I
Oh,
can
yeah.
sing." He said, "Well, sing out when the enemy are coming."
Yeah. Indeed. Dave, are you gonna treat us to
There's one for
another?
you, Tony.
Oh, look at that! Thank you very much.
That's for
Oh,
you.
a nice glass of Merlot. Yeah,
And
that's a half.
it's
That's a
rich.
half full.
It's rich and fruity like me, look. But I'm not rich and I'm not fruity.
Oh, Dave, are you gonna give us another twinkle of the mandolin or the guitar before we go in 10 minutes or so? Can you do another one for us?
Okay. Which one to do? I think.
Sorry, we've put you on the spot a bit. It's not fully intended.
Actually, no. I'll do it with the other one. I know you like this, so
We love
Yeah,
this.
I'm waiting for you to steal it off me someday.
In fact, I'm sorry I didn't get to meet you and Andy on Thursday because I haven't touched my ukulele for 3 weeks now. I'm well in need of practicing and
I hope you
playing.
haven't.
What was that, Brian?
I hope you haven't.
No, I've not even practiced. I'm hopefully seeing my tutor tomorrow because I'm still at the stage where I need to play along with other people.
Well, my daughter gave me a little ukulele a few weeks ago.
Yeah.
Well, a few months ago, and I went to Curly Music to get some
Oh, yeah.
strings, and then I got the strings, and I came back, and when I started to put them on, they wouldn't go on because there's only 4 strings.
Yeah.
And when I looked at it, it's got 6 strings. So I went back to Scaly Music and I told him, and he said, "Well, it's not a ukulele, is it?" And I went,
Oh, right. Oh, you're right. That's classic.
Well, I'm curious now. What was it?
I'll go and show you that. I'll go and show you that. It'll take me a minute.
Charles guitar.
Hope he doesn't bring a backpack. I hope he doesn't bring a
Dave,
backpack back.
I did play live though the other Thursday. I don't know if you saw the video.
I haven't, but I'll look for it.
Yeah. No, I think Andy videoed it. I played ELO's "Can't Get You Out of My Head."
Oh yeah.
Green, my ukulele tutor, and her singing.
There you go.
Singing partner.
It's only little.
Oh,
It's not an expensive one.
No,
I'm not
baby.
oh, look at that! I wonder what it's a miniature guitar then, is it?
Yeah, it is.
It is, yeah.
Yeah. Can you play it, Brian? Is it
Well,
playable? Yeah, not in tune, but it is playable. Yeah.
Merry Christmas, Merry.
Yeah.
It's not in tune because the strings are all broken, Tony. Look.
Yeah. Well, you should have taken it to the shop and made them put the strings on for you.
Well, yeah, I've got the strings.
Sir,
I've only got 4. So you can tune it. for me,
It's
Dave,
a
when you come up.
sweet little guitar, though, isn't it?
It's all right.
So, what type of guitar is that then, Dave? You know a bit more about guitars.
Child size.
It's an acoustic guitar.
Yes, Dave.
He said it's
That's
It's a 6-string acoustic guitar. It's just
David,
Do I really?
talking about stating the obvious.
well, they come in different. The bodies come in different sizes. It's just like
Valencia.
that
It's got
could be more of a
Valencia
traveling
inside.
guitar. It's
What
more
was
of a
that, Brian? Go
It's
on,
got
Brian.
Valencia inside it.
Yeah, so it's Spanish.
Yeah, it's got Fabrica Cordius Valencia.
oh,
If
so
you
is
take
it
the
classical
strings off,
guitar
if you
then?
take the strings off, you'll be able to
Made
read
in
it.
Spain. Made in Spain. Nice little thing, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, nice colour.
It'd be
Ah.
ideal for kids to learn with, wouldn't it? Because that's the problem when kids start learning guitar and things. Often the instrument's bigger than they are, isn't it?
Yeah.
Well, there's traveling guitars, which little tiny ones, pretty much similar to what
yeah.
Brian showed there, and they probably be good ones to start with for kids.
Yeah.
I think, 'cause the body's not that big. Because like the size that the bodies come in these things, like you get ones that are big as that, and it's like, and even the body shapes vary sometimes as well. So they all have like this. They all play the same thing. It's just a different
But it's
design.
different resonance. It's just a
Yeah.
different
I
resonance.
remember years ago, I used to meet up with some guys, and he was always playing guitar. All my mates were playing guitar. I used to just be there. And he had this lovely guitar, and it's called an Epiphone, by Gibson.
Yeah,
Beautiful
know that.
guitar, beautiful tone. And I kept on. I'd have a play because I used to play years and years ago. I'd sit there playing it, and I go, I love this guitar, And eventually he came to my house one day, knocked on my door, and said, I'm selling me a guitar. I'm taking it to the, what's the name? Not charity shop, pawnbrokers in the morning. And I went, are you joking? He said, no. He said, I want 40 quid. 40 quid.
40 quid.
I didn't even have it. I had 20 quid. And then I had about 15 quid, I think. And then a lady around the corner, she said, I'll give you 20 quid, right? Go and get it. So in the morning, like a 7:45, on his door, and he come out with his eyes. I just showed him this like 35 quid or whatever it was. And he snatched it out my hand, took the guitar and said, here. And I've still got it.
Wow.
I've still got it. And it's worth nearly 400 quid.
Oh, I can well imagine. Yeah.
I know it
You're
is.
gonna have to get it restrung and learn how to play it again.
Oh, it is restrung, and I do play it a little bit.
Take the strings off the little one, stretch them, and put them on the big one.
Wow.
Yeah. I was playing it before, but I'm not very good. I'm not very good. I just
Yeah, but you only get better by
you set yourself your own challenge there.
I just mess about. I don't.
you only get better by playing it.
I'm not like
rather
you.
than-
I don't play all the twiddly bits or nothing like that.
You just strum. Yeah.
I just strum.
Right, young David, what are you going to do for us? I'm intrigued.
Probably one that just go with the first song I ever wrote, which was actually on this little guy. I mean, it's that and Too Many Trips. I don't know whether it was that or Too Many Trips Up to Scotland being the main reason why I bought this thing. So
Did you used to sit on the train and play the mandolin then?
Yeah, and I got thrown off at Carlisle because they wouldn't let me into Scotland.
Oh, fantastic.
Oh, it's Hey There, Man.
Oh, we like it.
Hey there, mama, what did I say to you? Did I break your heart? What did I do? Call you nasty, call you cruel, say you're dumb or just a fool. Oh mama, what did I do? Hey there, mama, what did I do to you? Did I break a promise? What did I do? No message sent, no didn't phone, leave you waiting all alone. Oh mama, what did I do? Hurt so bad, every word you take steps through your heart like a wooden stake. Hey there, mama, what can I do for you? I broke your heart, so what should I do? Hold you close or stay away? Need to know you'll be okay. Oh mama, what should I do? Hey there, mama, I still love you. If I made you sad, I didn't mean to. Want you happy, want you glad. So sorry for being bad. Oh mama, I still love you.
Oh, we love it. It definitely suits the mandolin, Dave. You know, there's something about some melodies and songs that it just sounds right, doesn't it, Paul? What would you agree?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Yeah, Paul plays guitar anyway, don't you? You've been known to strum and
I've been
strum and
known to
hum.
strum songs and occasionally bits of poetry insist on having melodies to them. So then I've just got to work out some chords to go with it. It
Yeah.
happens.
Anyway, listen, we're going to be knocking off in a few minutes, so you know, it was really just a sort of get us back in the swing of things tonight, and hopefully next
So glad.
Monday we'll be a bit more organised and, you know, together. Maybe even have a theme. What was that, Zoe?
See everybody again. It's been so lovely seeing everybody again.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. No. Well, Brian
I'm
had
so
said to
glad.
me about what was I doing one last Monday. It wasn't I couldn't or wouldn't do one last Monday, just with it being so closely part of Christmas, and it just felt, you know, people would be probably still, you know, unwrapping stuff and giving stuff and watching telly with their mum or their, you know, the nieces and things like that. You know, so no, it's been lovely to, you know, get people back together, you know, share some words and stories and bit of music. It's been great fun.
Yeah, it's been, well, Zoe's been on Facebook as well, so we've met on Facebook.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Our messages. So, and I said I've been painting the last few nights. Well, the last couple of weeks, really. So I've done over 2 days. I did nearly 17 paintings.
Wow.
Right.
Wow.
Now Zoe said she'd like to see one. So this is one of them that I've been doing.
Oh.
Oh.
I've seen you've done doggy ones like that before,
I have,
Brian, actually.
I have, but it's really weird because they're all different. They all come out as different characters all the time.
Oh, look at the eyes on that one. Oh.
Right.
Oh, he's called Gibson after you.
Yeah, that's right.
Oh.
Well, Francesca give them names. Now this is something else I've been working on. It's a totally different kind, but this is, whether you can see it.
Oh, love it.
Oh, that looks like your sister's dog. Oh, that's amazing, that.
Now, if only you did Pussycats, my daughter would love you. If only you could do Pussycats, Brian, because she's a pussycat lady, my daughter.
Oh, is she?
Yeah. Oh, she's pussycat mad. She's terrible. She's a mad cat lady.
Mad cat lady.
Mad
Yes,
cat
she's
lady.
terrible.
Yeah.
She's 26, but she would pass for being like an 86-year-old lady with, you know, letting the cats like sleep on the bed and all that. Yeah. No, she's terrible. Yeah, she's got two. She's got one that's 3 years old called Pepper, and she felt sorry for Pepper, so eventually found someone who had a cat that had kittens, managed to smuggle a kitten home without telling her partner, and so she's got a little one called Salt now. So she's got Pepper and Salt, as their two kittens.
Oh,
Pepper and
I mean, you would think they were
Oh.
called Salt and Pepper, but Pepper, she's had Pepper
I didn't know
3
that.
years more than Salt, so it's Pepper and Salt.
They're so good.
Go on,
That-
Brian. What's
That
that?
is,
Oh.
Ooh,
ooh.
that's one of your.
that's a
that's
character
got
out
your-
one of my
Yeah,
stories.
That's got. Yeah, I can see that. It's like a cross between a dragon or something.
Yeah, it's a
Looks like
crocodile.
dragon.
It's a crocodile. But it's in
Yeah.
colour. That's only a printout.
Pictures.
And these are like fantasy ones where you can see.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that is set in a place in Lingfield down south in Croydon. That's where that story is set.
Oh.
And it's set in the boughs of that tree.
So is this harking back to the Magic Faraway Tree? Is it a fantasy adventure for children, or is it?
Yeah, well,
adult?
yeah, that is one. I've come across that little portfolio early on tonight. So I thought I'd just share it. But
Mhm.
I started doing that in late 1970s. Started that. So there's like loads of illustrations for that. And when
You never really stop with all this inspiration and art and creativity, do you?
Well, when I was doing this story, right, I just finished Butlins because I worked in Butlins as a cook, and I got on well with the photographer, Butlins photographer, and so when we finished, we kept in touch on the phone, and he said, "Where are you?" And I said, "Well, I'm in Lingfield." He said, "You're joking?" He said, "I'm only like about 3 train stops away from there." And I said, "Well, let's meet up." So we met up. I fly again, just keep flying and we go. So we met up and he was taking photographs of images that I wanted to illustrate. And as we were walking along the road, he had his camera on his back and I had a bag of shopping, and a police car slowly came along the other side of the road. And then he wound his window down and he shouted, "All right, lads, what you up to?" And I went, "Oh, just going home to get me dinner." So he goes, "Oh, are you?" And he stopped the car and 2 policemen got out the car and crossed over the road to us. And he goes, "What have you got?" And I knew what was going to come. And I said, he said, what have you got in your bag?" And I went, "I've got me shopping." And he goes, "Oh, yeah." And I said, "Yeah. Can I have a look?" And I said, "Yeah, of course you can." So I had just been to butcher's and I'd bought a load of sausages, and they were all on, you know, when you get sausages on a string.
Yeah,
And I thought, I'll just pick the end one up. So I put my hand in the bag and I said, "Yeah, this is what I've got." And I just lifted a big string of sausages up dead slow, and I went and I dangled them like that in front of his face, you know, like. And he said, "Oh, yeah, very nice." He said, "What else have you got?" And I took in the bag and I took out eggs or whatever it was. And then he said to me, "Mate, and what have you got there?" And I said, "Oh, he's Butlins photographer." He said, "Oh, yeah." He said, "What are you doing?" "Casing the joints, are you?" And I went, "What does that mean?" He said, "You know, photo." And I said, "Well," I said, "I'm an artist." I said, "I'm just trying to focus a little bit." He said, "Oh." So it went on and on and on. And he said, "Would you like to get in the car?" And I went, "Are we going for a ride?" I said to him. So he went, "Yeah." So I sat behind the driver and I never shut up cracking jokes. The 2 policemen were roaring laughing. We got to the police station, cut the story short, we were there till after 10 o'clock at night. But when we first walked in, I said, "Do you know what I'm looking forward to?" And he went, "What?" This is to the sergeant. I said, "When you come in later and you've got your head low and you're like that and you're all humble and you say, 'I'm awful sorry, Brian, we've made a big mistake,' because you have." I said, "And I can't wait for that to happen." So he goes, "Oh, yeah, blah, blah, blah." Eventually, I'm gonna cut it right back now. Eventually, he came in and he said to the 2 of us in different rooms, and then we came back to put it back in the same room. And he said, "Right, lads,
would you like a bit of supper? And I went, oh, we got to have, what is it, the Last Supper? It's the Last Supper, this is like that happened. So my mate, he was like about 6'3". He was white as a ghost. He was terrified. And I said, stop worrying, you've done nothing. And eventually he said, I couldn't eat. And I said, I'll have fish and chips. So they came back with 2 big portions of fish and chips. We had them, and then the sergeant came in and he was like that. His head down. And I went, I know what you come for, like that. And he goes, I said, I can't wait for this, can't wait for it. And he said, Brian, I'm awful sorry, we made a big. I said, I told you that this afternoon, like that, laughing. Eventually, he said, I'm awful sorry for blah, blah, blah. And I said, he said, you can go now. And I said, you're joking. I said, you put us through this all day and you think you're going to get away with it just like that? So he said, what do you mean? I said, I want a photograph of you. So he goes, okay. I said, have you got somewhere you can take a photograph? Because earlier, while we were sitting there, this old lady had come in and she had this big chain and she was by the reception, and the police officer leaned over his desk and he says, can I help you? And she went, I've just found this down by the river. She said, and I can't take it home with me. She said, it's too much for me. So he said, oh, we've got nowhere to keep that here, love. Got nowhere to keep that here. So eventually he got another couple of policemen in and he said, okay, come on, we'll take it. And I thought, Christ, it must be some sort of dog that, because the chain was taut. And when the policeman pulled it round, it wasn't a dog, it was a ball and chain. It was a big iron ball on the end of the chain. And he went, and it rumbled as he was pulling it across the floor. So when I said I want a photograph with the sergeant, and I said, have you got somewhere we can take it? And he said, yeah. And he took us to this room and he flicked this light on, like a big click it was. And this big long room lit up. And he went, how was that? Is that okay? That light enough for you? And I said, perfect. I said, I want you to stand at the end. So he goes, okay. I said, oh, hang on a minute. I said, not like that. I said, I want you with that ball and chain on your leg. He went, what? I said, what you put us through today, that's what I want. So he did. Right. I've got the 2 photographs, one with me with the ball and chain and one with him. But this is only a black and white one, just to prove it. And he was the sergeant of the police station. But you can see her.
Oh, love it.
Oh my God!
Hang on, what is it?
Yeah,
I can see it.
Yeah.
There he is.
God. Oh dear. Yeah.
And he said to me, when you get your book published, he said, every police officer here will buy a copy. That's what he said to me.
We need to get this sorted then, don't we?
Props to him for doing it, though.
Well,
Props to him
Tony,
for doing
come and help me. When you're ready.
Well, I have
It's
got more time now. I've got a day job. Like
yeah, I know
job.
it's an old story, but it goes way back. It's a long time ago. This.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
it's got legs. I know it has.
Absolutely.
Right, guys, listen. We are going to have to knock off because I've got to vaguely start getting back into normal living hours. You know, like getting up at a certain time and going to bed at a certain time.
Well, thank you very much for doing it tonight.
Thank you, everyone.
Yes, thank
as
you.
ever, and to Francesca, who could have joined us but didn't. But she's
Yeah,
been
she
out
has,
there.
hasn't she?
She's
She has
watching,
joined.
but she could have joined in.
I see what you mean. I thought, yeah, I know she's meant to be going to watch.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
it's so happy New Year, everyone. We will be back next
Yeah,
Monday.
Happy New Year.
So
Happy New
we'll all
Year.
have to put our best
Yeah.
thinking caps on of how to get Paul and Brian into the Zoom at the right time at the beginning, and not after half an hour or an hour each.
Hey, I was on the button tonight, though. That pig and
You
fly.
were.
When I get
But
that fly,
there's been weeks when you haven't. Poor Paul was ringing and texting me, but left my phone on charge. So I'm sorry, Paul.
Well, listen, Tony. The next time you come up, bring a fly spray with you, please.
Okay, yeah,
Well,
go
I've
on,
gotta get
Macca.
this fly.
Macca.
It's
We'll
drove me
let
up the wall.
Macca can have the last words tonight.
What, like with Paul or something?
Yes.
Okay,
Yeah.
well, listen. there's a competition out at the moment. It hasn't got the final date yet, but it's for a specific form. It doesn't take long to write. Called sonnets.
Oh yeah, you like sonnets.
14-line sonnets, and I find them easy enough to write. I'm contemplating this one, which is actually the first thing I actually got paid for when it appeared in the Liverpool Echo.
Oh,
That's going back a bit because the Echo don't even pay people who write for the Echo anymore.
No,
do
well,
they?
this was a competition.
Yeah.
So basically, it's a sonnet, and it says, "The Chilwell Abbey slumbers in the warmth of summer's final days. What memories of summers past might linger in its walls of local stone, hand quarried, sculpted to ease exactly into place. What secrets revealed, whispered by songbirds roosting in the eaves. What tales of valor and courage might be sung if these ancient walls could only give tongue. The abbey stands, protecting the vale below, providing in summer's heat or winter's snow a refuge where the traveller can be sure of sincere, open welcome at the door. The monks no longer tread the abbey's ground. True hospitality may still be found." I think you all know where the Chilwell Abbey pub is.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Do indeed. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's superb, Paul. Sonnets they're a good form actually, aren't they? They're just long enough to get a meaning across without you having to keep.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So is that
Yeah.
going off somewhere? Is this?
I'm contemplating it, yeah. I was looking for the address in case anyone else was interested. Couldn't find it, but it's not before the end of the month. So
Yeah.
still time to get your thinking.
Well, should
cap
hope
on.
not. It's only the third
If you
today.
fancy if you fancy a sonnet,
Yeah.
and I will make sure that I've got the correct address.
Yeah. Well, if you
next week.
can send it to me as a message, I can share it out, and then anyone else can
Yeah.
Sounds good.
can have a look at it. Anyway, guys, we are going to bid our fond farewells now. Thank you to one and all. We will be
Thank
back next
you.
Monday, and hopefully
Thank you.
other people like
Enjoyed
Karen and
it.
Paul and Alban and Andy can join us next week as well. And see if Francesca can actually, even if she doesn't stay, Brian, just tell us to sign in and say hello. And
Well, she'll be listening to you. She'll be
I know she's
listening,
been
Tony.
listening. She always
So-
does. She always
So you
does.
can talk to her until.
No, but the Crafty Nut Kit, the place to go if you need a handmade birthday or other greetings card. So it's Valentine's next, Brian, isn't it? We oh yes, look at that. That's for you.
Wow.
That's for you.
Wow.
She
Yeah.
does do a cracking job. But
Yeah,
so,
that was
you know,
from a
we've got-
good friend of mine,
Yeah, I think I might have.
and his name was Tony.
I know, it's lovely, isn't it? She's done a great job.
Brilliant.
So think ahead, folks. If you've got birthdays coming up, or Easter, Mother's Day, Father's Day, Valentine's, if you're into that, just drop Francesca a message and say what name you want, what colour, if there's colours that enter into it. Sometimes, I mean, I wanted one for my son with a guitar on. She did one for my grandkids. So think about supporting someone local to us all. They're only £2, £3, £4, Brian, aren't they? They're not expensive.
Well, £3 something and the
Yeah.
postage, or she can deliver it.
Or if you're local enough, she can.
But she
actually
hand
whiz
makes
round.
them. That's what's
does.
incredible. And
Yeah,
she
she
takes
does.
like 2 hours to make one
Oh, I know.
card sometimes.
Yeah.
And
So,
they're so intricate and
Yeah.
personal.
but she's getting a lot of coverage on some of the local art and craft pages on Facebook. I've seen.
Yeah, there's lots of people love her work.
Yeah.
Other
So,
artisans,
the Crafty Nutkin or Francesca Lee. So find her and use her and support someone nice, someone local, and someone who's doing something basically that we can't do. So we all should do our little bit to support other people.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Right, guys, I'm going to bid us all a fond farewell. I shall speak
Night.
to you all
See you next
Good
beforehand.
night,
week.
Zoe. Good night, Paul.
Bye.
Good night,
Good night,
David.
David.
Good night, Brian. Good night.
Good night.
Bye,
Thanks,
guys.
everyone.